Okay, welcome guys, welcome. We are going to be looking at Armour Brigade 2, which has actually been out for, it must be about 6 months now, I guess, but it is just launched into Steam today, or yesterday, yeah, 8th of April, no, I think only a few hours ago actually, so I've only just woken up, but I know that the game is already out, but only just, because I was able to show it yesterday on my Chat Tactics stream, but not actually to play it as such, but now it is actually out. So we'll go through, do a bit of an intro about the game initially, and then sort of work our way through from there. So it's just hit Steam. But as I said before, the game has been essentially released on the Matrix store for a fair few months now. And so I've sort of had that version of the game, but now I've got the Steam version, which we'll be playing today. All right. Well, first of all, this stream is sponsored by Slytherin, so I thank you to Slytherin for that. There is actually a tracking link for if you are interested in the game. There's a link that I've actually put into YouTube as a sticky link. You'll sort of see it there pinned to the top of the comments. If you want to go into the Steam page, which will just take you to this particular page here, and then there's also I've placed that into the description, the title for if you're watching this on Twitch. So I'm streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. We'll be here for a few hours. Hi, not a day dearie and Gribbly. How you guys going? Hope everyone's doing well. Is there an in-game unit library database? Yes, we'll do a deep dive into this game because there's a lot more to this game than what it looks like when you first see it. It's also very, very moddable, and so I'm thinking that there will be some excellent mods that will come to this game. There were some really cool mods that were done for the first game as well, and so sort of taking it back. I think there was one mod that took it back to 1943, and we'll talk about all of the eras that it's in and so on and so forth. So its render is saying, is this co-op versus or player versus player multiplayer? I'm actually not sure. I've only ever played it single player. I've never tried it multiplayer. To be honest, I pause a lot. So I like real-time games with active pause, and this is one of those games. So for me, I have zero interest in playing multiplayer with these sort of games because I do like to be able to pause the game. If I'm playing multiplayer, it would be overwhelming for me. I would be overstimulated and end up a shaking wreck. So Notto's then saying, just played for 2 hours. It's really good. Yeah, there we go. Great. Yeah, that's but we can have a look at this. We'll have a look at I'll start off here actually. What I'll do is I'll play the. I just had a look at the release trailer, and it does very succinctly show you what the game has got. So let's actually just have a look at that in all its detail. Might as well, I guess. So if Vitica Studios put it together, out in the plains of Central Europe. Superpowers clash. This is a Cold War going hot game. So you lead NATO nation packed armies from 65 to 91. And we'll have a look at all of these screens when we're in there. There's no rush for us to sort of get into things, without looking at what we've got. Lead mechanized armies across. You can sort of see there the gameplay. And pick your battlefields. This is uniquely great about the game, which you'll see when we get into it. Now, that's a big game that we're looking at there. So call in massive artillery strikes. You can sort of really saturate an area. You can really pick different scales of how you play. So you've got aircraft as well. There's artillery coming in as well. Night battles, you've got weather effects, all sorts of different things. But there's outfight your enemy and seize the initiative. Well, it's sort of that's actually almost a misnomer or whatever it is. Like it's actually more of outscout your enemy and sort of then use superior firepower to overcome them. It's a game that is quite realistic in many, many different ways. I'll just turn that off just in case it decides to flick it back through again. So in through here at the moment until the 16th of April, this is the reason for this particular stream. There is actually a 10% off, which doesn't seem like a lot, but these are niche games, and so they very rarely go on special. Was what I sort of find with these type of things. It is only single player. We can see it through there. So there is no multiplayer with this one. Now, another Slytherin game is also in development, which is really geared for multiplayer. That's Broken Arrow. And so if you are wanting a multiplayer experience in the same sort of vein, then Broken Arrow, I'm not sure when Broken Arrow is coming out. I normally, with sponsored streams, don't sort of go off and look at other things, but let's do that. Let's go and put in Broken Arrow and just see if there is actually a date yet for that, because I've only just got the June of 2025. There we are. So a few months away for this one, and this one is online player versus player and online co-op with some fairly massive multiplayer games you can play with Broken Arrow. So these are similar games in one sense. Now, I've never really been able to get Broken Arrow to work well on my system, but this is also a Slytherin game. So I thought I'd just mention, like, because there was the question about co-op or player versus player type things. This Broken Arrow Broken Arrow and Armoured Brigade 2 are sort of very much in the same sort of vein. With where they sort of are, but they do play quite differently. I've got to say, I haven't played much of Broken Arrow. Armour Brigade 2 is more my style of game, just because Broken Arrow. I don't tend to play games that are geared for multiplayer. As I said before, I do like to have active pause, so that's sort of for me. Armour Brigade is much more where I'm focused in terms of my own sort of way of sort of playing the game. I'll just pause that so we don't see that anymore. Coming back through, I'll just quickly go through what the game has got. There's been a fair few different things that have now come through, like the release today/yesterday, Armoured Brigade 2 West German vehicle trailer. So there's actually a whole lot of different forces that we actually have available to us. So they've been putting out information over the previous months, just as they sort of gear up for this Steam release. It's almost been like the game has been in sort of early access on the Matrix store, and that's where a lot of people will actually come into either the Steam version. If you got the Matrix version, you can actually just log into Matrix and pick up a Steam key for it. So if you prefer, and I prefer to have Steam, to be honest, because I like having the updates that sort of come with that one through there. Just read a few more of the comments that we've got. So we've got the notice in saying, but didn't manage. How to make airborne operation, which are in the showcase mission. There's a bit of not complexity, but with artillery and with air, with the way that air sort of works, you do need to. Well, hang on, you mean an air? You mean as in dropping troops? Maybe that's what you mean. I don't know how to do that. If you mean dropping troops, then I don't know. Sorry. I was saying if Daz is playing multiplayer, he'd never read chat. I wouldn't either. I become so tunnel vision, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy multiplayer, to be honest, in games. Hi, Mr. Worth, how you going? So things are saying, but Daz, what's their DLC policy? Well, if Armour Brigade 1 is anything to go, that's an interesting question. Yes, Armour Brigade 1 did have DLC. That's a good place to start this. Let's go to. Did they ever release it on Steam? I don't know if they did. Armoured Brigade 1. Oh yeah, they did. There we go. So Armoured Brigade 1 is actually more expensive than Armoured Brigade 2. Well, don't buy Armoured Brigade 1, and I'll show you why. This one is on special at the moment for 105. So this is Australian dollars, so it's a lot less than that if you're trying to convert it into either euros or into American dollars. So when you see the A, it's you can almost sort of wipe off a third, and that will be about the American price. But what's interesting here is you end up with you've got the base game, Armoured Brigade, And then you've got Armour Brigade Nation Pack for Czechoslovakia. You've got one for France and Belgium, and you've got one for Italy and Yugoslavia. So so they basically had like 3 DLCs for Armour Brigade 1. Armour Brigade 2, which is cheaper than Armour Brigade 1, the base game, has all of this in it. So you get the whole lot in one go. I'm glad that was a very, very good question. Thank you, Klingzot, because this is very, very important. So rather than spending $105 Australian, or about $70, even I think it might even be $60 or something like that, US, you can get for about $40 US the Armour Brigade 2, which includes all of this stuff. So if we go, for example, into the Italy Yugoslavia pack and through here, it may not have all of the troops, but I'm actually not sure about that. If we go into this other side, it does have the map packs, at least I know that. But we'll get into it when we get there and just see what it's got. Yeah, we've got the Yugoslav army. Actually, maybe it doesn't have the armies. So I'm not sure about the DLC that's coming, but you certainly get the maps that were done for this version of the game. Okay, yeah, it's got Italian army. It doesn't have the armies. All right, so there may be more DLC coming for this one through here, but it does actually have the maps, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so so when I first saw the game, because I had the game before the release of the Matrix version, and I thought that the maps that were in there weren't going to be there for release, because I thought they would then pull them back out for DLCs, but they didn't. They're actually part of the game. So, but the actual forces aren't. Now I don't know what they'll do with the forces, but so there possibly will be some DLC. They had 3 DLC last time. They were valuable DLCs. They were good. They were good with what they did with the nation packs. But we get a lot of these forces that do come in. If I just go back out again. We go back to, we've got Czechoslovakia and Netherlands, and then France and Belgium as well. So they've got all these different things in through there. Anyway, let's just go back to Armour Brigade 2. But you do get a lot more content in the base game of Armour Brigade 2 than what you do in the base game of Armour Brigade 1. So, and it's cheaper. It's cheaper at the moment. So, so that's sort of where we are. So, I don't know if I said hi to Mr. Worth there before. So Sci-Fi Snob is saying it's really sticky. It's all over my hands. I'll be right back. I don't know what you're talking about. So Sci-Fi Snob is saying, is it movable single units or movable platoons companies? Both. So you've got a lot of control. Single units, as in single entity, like platoons and stuff like that. Yeah, Sci-Fi Snob is saying Armour Brigade says single player. Sprocket Tickle Bottom saying hey Daz and everyone. And hi back. And Bubo, hi. Hector's saying £30 in the UK for Armour Brigade 2. There we are. 10% off at the moment though. So there is a tracking link, as I said before, which will take you to the Steam page. So there's so just so you're aware, there's no actual benefit. It's not like it's not an affiliate link or anything like that. It is just a link that I've stickied into the chat there for YouTube. So if you do want to go to the Steam page, then you can certainly just click on that link, and then it'll say, oh, it's working. These live streams are working. So anyway, let's continue on. Thank you for the subscription there, Zaradin. Very, very much appreciated. Hi, Supreme Play. So as we come back down, let's have a look and see what this actually does have, because there's a lot in this game. So you've got I'll just keep on going through. New Scale of Warfare. I'll talk about this as well when we get there. Let's just go to the bullet points. Features: comprehensive command, control and communication, so C3. Advanced mechanisms for information sharing and tactical decision making. This is a big feature of the game. And not that many of these sort of games have this, where there's actually a command delay, depending on the forces that you choose, and you can vary that depending on how if you're finding it too much, you can actually change it. But it means that when you give an order, it takes time for the order to then go to the unit, depending on how far away your command unit is. So that's actually a big feature of the game. If it's too much, you can basically turn it off. But if you, like, we'll play with it on, so just so you can see sort of how that works. It makes the game really, really different. So huge unit database, players 7 different countries with full rosters of vehicles and weapons from 65 to 91. So the question we had there before about does it have like a database? Yes, it does for every single faction, and there's a lot of content in there. Massive real-time terrain maps, expansive detailed maps based on satellite topographic data and historical maps, offering vast landscapes for manoeuvres and realistic engagement distances. This is unbelievably cool about this game. So it's got massive real-time terrain maps. Now, when you think about it, you sort of start thinking, okay, well, that's what we're playing on, just this massive map. So you're thinking preset maps. No, we've got this sort of like massive area of the world, and then we choose what battlefield we're going to play from anywhere in that actual map. You'll see when we get into it. It's an incredibly different system than probably anything. I can't think of any other game that does it like this, and this is so cool. And it's actually based on, I think it's 1980s topographic maps of real sections of Europe, and there's also one section of the USA as well. Dynamic weather system, a wide range of lighting and environmental effects that realistically impact gameplay and tactics. Improve fire support, so improved support mechanics, offering more in depth in utilising various assets such as air, artillery, and helicopters. Infantry rework. God, I'm tongue-tied. I'll have to have a drink. Infantry rework. So redesigned infantry mechanics for a more authentic and engaging ground combat experience. And campaigns, both a mix of dynamic and linear campaigns, allowed for varied and immersive storytelling within the game. So we'll cover all of these things. Let's get into the game now. Oh, I did want to also point out, there will be like the Steam comments in through here, but if you are wanting to sort of also just get up to speed with different things, the Matrix forum is also a good resource where people do sort of discuss the game a lot. So the people who've been playing this for a while have been sort of in this chat area. So by all means, sort of like find the different ways of communicating and sort of go from there. All right, let's get into it and get it going. So. And Captain Dweller saying, I was just looking at this game. I'm looking forward to you streaming it. Yeah, thank you for that. Things I was saying, this reminds me of when I was at uni. One of my lecturers was a developer on the Braveheart game. He said that they brought real maps of Scotland from the Russians. Wow. That's interesting. Spring Plank saying, is there any scenarios where you have to hold and defend against the AI? Would love to see that. Well, I'm thinking of playing a meeting engagement, but yes, there are. And you can set that up. I'll show you the setups, because the setup is really where the game is so extendable, or whichever way you want it to go. But if we go into, this is the Matrix version, this is the Steam version. So Steam version just had an update as it launched, basically. So it's now version 1.585 is the actual version number that we're playing. So we'll go and play this one. But I'm pretty sure if I go back to the Matrix version, that's now two versions behind it at the moment, but it will actually. Now, the reason I like to play the Steam version is I don't have to do this manual check for updates. Actually, if I check for updates, the 1.585 is probably sitting there. I updated this yesterday because I didn't think I'd be able to play the Steam version yesterday, but I could. So anyway, we'll just play the Steam version. So I prefer the Steam launcher with the updates just coming thick and fast through Steam itself. Now, the game doesn't update all that often, like it's probably once a month or so, like I would be thinking would be about what they do on average. So it's not as if it's updating all the time, and you can keep on playing it, I believe. So anyway, we'll just go back through. I was going to just have the game running, but it does load up pretty fast. So play the game. So it loads of different resource files in. Of course, this is, even though it's Slytherin is the publisher, Matrix Games is really where the development has come through with Vitica Studios. So you can see down through there, Vitica Studios, Slytherin, and Matrix, which of course are basically one big company now. Okay, so what we end up having here is we've got you've got mission editors, you've got database editors. So you can actually go in and build your own database. So you can go in and chop and change things. I won't go through how this all works because I don't know how it works. I have looked at it in the past, but it's not something that you've got defaults, you've got errors, so you can sort of go and add in your own. So when people are building a mod, they may decide to completely change what type of infantry or what type of units come in. Now, I'm assuming at some point the 1943 mod for Armour Brigade 1, I really hope that that is introduced into Armour Brigade 2, because that would be really cool. That way we could sort of play with a different database through modding back with World War II units. So at the moment we're sort of playing with Cold War units, which is still fine, but it's just but that was an incredible mod that was done back for Armour Brigade 1. Just go back to the main menu. So that's the database editor. The mission editor is where you basically end up, and I won't bother opening that one up. You also have Steam Workshop, which at the moment should be completely blank. Content folder uploads, because no one's using it yet, because no one knows. Look, it's literally only just been out for a few hours. So, the fact that it's launching now with Steam Workshop is really, really cool. Normally they would put some sort of dummy thing in there, but that's going to be good as well. So at least they've got all that as well. The options, you've got different options in through here. I'll just very quickly sort of go through. You've got WASD map scroll, a window edge map scroll as well, which a lot of these things don't sort of sound all that important, but there's quite a lot of keyboard shortcuts that you sort of, like, it's handy to know. And to be honest, I'm rusty with those. So you've got and these are event actions. So event actions are what's going to happen when certain things happen. Now this has actually reset itself, unfortunately, because what I like to do is I like to pause, like fast time off or pause when something sort of happens. So enemy ground unit spotted. I'll put these on. I can change these at any time. So I can pause when that one happens. Enemy aircraft spotted. We'll pause then as well. Enemy destroyed. Why not? Taking fire, we'll do that as well. Incoming enemy artillery, I won't do that one. Unit engaged in close combat, we'll pause the game there. Unit lost, we'll pause that at that point. Unit retreating or neutralized. Unit seeking cover, unit cannot find detour. I'll pause there as well. So this is sort of like just going to set up the way that I may want to play the game. And I forget what my defaults used to be. Unit immobilized, unit hits obstacle, unit loaded or unloaded. New units available. I'll pause there as well. Units ready to fire. I'll put these on because I can always undo them. Fire mission ready to fire. I'll go through that as well. Aircraft ready. I won't bother. Actually, I might do. I will do it. Incoming friendly aircraft. No. Objective captured. I'll put these on because I tend to be pausing anyway. You also have things like the autosave interval, the terrain info pop-up delay back in through here. So 1.5 seconds basically. So that's the game side of things. Graphics wise, you've got different things in through here as well that you can chop and change. You also then have unit icon sets from NATO through to stylized. I might try stylized. I prefer NATO personally, but I know that people who aren't used to playing with NATO symbols probably won't like it, but let's just see how we go. Actually, we probably could stick with, and I'll start here, and then we'll just go back through. Line of sight, color mode, there's all sorts of different stuff in through here as well, and then audio as well. I have moved the music volume backwards a little bit and just changed the master volume down a little bit as well. Okay, so we've got orient listener to the locked unit. This is sort of like a feature of the game. I'm going to click that on because I think that will help with our immersion. It's sort of not realistic the way that the game is played, but anyway, let's just go back that way and click on back because the game really does strive for realism. You've got a game guide in through here as well, which just goes through how to do things, which is actually very, very cool. And I probably should have read that today, but it's got like all of the different bits and pieces in through here. Just very, very quickly, this is essentially your manual in game to do different things like the different windows, order of battle, etc., etc. So there's lots and lots of stuff in here. Just go back to the main menu. Got credits in there as well, and then so we'll just go into a new game, and I'll show you the various setups for the game itself. So if we go into a new game. So we've got 4 different flavors in through here. So if I go to single mission, what this one has got is you've got essentially like the basic movement tutorials, etc., but you have a whole lot of other different sorts of interaction. You can sort of see through here, walk on water. This is one where the September 1983, your Soviet mechanized force has been ordered to cross the river and take control of an important road on the other side. The Finns are waiting there. So in this case, this is like an advance like you're advancing into their territory. But there are defensive ones as well, and I'm not sure where they actually are. But you've got one thing that I sort of wish that the page was down below, but that's it through there. So you've sort of got like the different things. This is interesting as well. Show the subscribe Steam Workshop scenarios. So you will have scenarios that people will build for you as well. So these are one-off campaigns in through here. So Armoured Cavalry Squadron. So a lot of these will be attack missions, but they don't have to be. You can actually play defensive missions. So we've got different things in through there. You'll see that there's different, I'll talk about this when we get into the actual game itself, like player character, reduced delay, so on and so forth. So again, reduced delay, actually I might just mention that now, reduces the player force command delay significantly. So if you are really struggling with the fact that you give your orders and it takes like 5 minutes for the orders to then be taken up, you can click that on just to sort of not have to worry about it. Pierce is saying, I wonder if I can dash damage a tank. I think we can. From memory, I think we can do individual units, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I left it in there because I thought we could. So, yeah, so VAF67 is saying getting my Steam key was pretty easy on Slytherin. I'm glad it was an email. Glad it was an email chase. It wasn't an email chase. I was thinking, oh, it was. No, it's very simple. You just have to log in and just go to the game, and basically, and you'll find your Steam key right there. It's Major Swifty saying roll the credits. Well, we can do that. I'll just go back to the main menu. I mean, the credits. I probably should have done this, but yeah, you got that's maybe a bit too slow. Vitica Studios. Anyway, yeah, let's not do the credits. Let's just keep on going through. So if we go into new game, so single missions, you do actually have missions, and people will build their own. So you've got those through there. You can generate a mission. So I'll just quickly go through how this one works, but we're not going to do this. So the way it works is you've got all these different other regions that now came, as I said before, they've come from these other DLC packs. So you've essentially are getting all of these. So I'm not sure if they do bring DLCs, what they'll introduce. They most likely will bring in the different forces, I would guess, at some point. But you get a lot of the forces that were sort of, like there's a lot to play with in the game. So if we go, for example, into the Pilsen region back in through here with Strebo, and I don't even know where this is, to be honest. But if we, you can pick any of the maps. There's heaps of them. There's Southeast Finland, back in through here. The Pilsen region, I think is that in Poland? I'm not sure exactly where that actually is. The North German plain, around Wartenberg and Harburg, in through there. Munster, Lübeck, back in through this other side as well. More plains, back out through this other side. The Hof Gap. So these are all the maps that sort of come with the game, and a lot of these were introduced in DLCs in version 1. And I can hear you sort of thinking, well, hang on, what's the difference between version 1 and version 2? The big difference is essentially that the 3D changes to this game are astronomical, but they've been able to use the maps from Armour Brigade 1 to a large degree, for the simple reason that these were all 3D maps as well. And so what they had was, it was a 2D top-down game in version 1 with a line of sight mechanic on real maps that actually, so you had to use a line of sight tool to figure out what you could see. With the 3D, that all disappears, and it doesn't seem like much, but God, it changes the game dramatically. It makes it so much more immersive to play this game with the 3D terrain and also in the units as well. So they've done a great job of this. I mean, so the maps already had the 3D aspect to them because they were using line of sight. Fulda Gap through there, Fort Irwin back in the USA. Like there's no, like it's just basically out in the desert. And then the Ardennes region back in through here around Bastogne and. Etc. Sort of in the forest of the Ardennes forest. So if we were going to say choose something, to be honest, if you're playing like heavily wooded areas like this, you get it, like infantry is going to be fighting in very close quarters. So you sort of like, personally, I like to have a bit of a balance. But let's just say we're going to choose this map. I can go to maximum size. This is the biggest map I can play from the terrain map available. So this is going to be the battlefield that we can play in. And so you can see there's a lot that we can sort of pick and choose in around, like get both of those villages. There's all sorts of stuff happening in that particular area. So that's the maximum. The minimum size is about 2 kilometres square. So I can sort of zoom right in and just have like a little fight for that village or whatever it might actually be. So the where you actually build these dynamic maps is okay. Pilsen is is Czech. So hi, Ellen Devout. Thanks for that. Yeah, I don't know. So Piers is saying, weren't the Finns cautiously friendly to the Soviets during the Cold War? It's, well, you can play US versus Finland if you're wanting to. You can mix and match whoever's going to. You can have US versus US. You can have Soviets versus Soviets. You can do whatever you like, and I'll show you why or how you can do that when we do this one here. So it's more anyway. This is like the smallest of the maps, and we'll probably end up playing that today because even with a small map, it's still a lot that can go on. But if I go and play one of these maximum maps, so let's just go and grab one of these, or I can just go back and change it. I can make it so that it's quite so that the width is like more of a north-south type thing. So I can sort of go very very narrow with the actual map that we then sort of go and play. Like let's just say that we did that one. See how there's a river that runs through the middle? Now some of these maps may not be viable. Let's just go and click on it. See how there's red in the middle of the map? There looks like there are areas that still cross the river, but in through here would be really quite different. I'll just go back out. Let's go back out to the main menu, just go to new game and generate mission. And so we'll just do that one again. If we go to the Ardennes region. So by default, it likes to have this about 6 kilometres by about 3 kilometres is sort of like what it likes to actually have as its default. But of course, you can chop and change it. Let's just go and play one of these. I won't. Actually, maybe I will put it on a river just so you can sort of see what actually happens when you do this. So if I was going to choose, like we've got a river that runs. Well, that sort of runs through there. So there should be other rivers. There's a river that runs that way as well. If we'll just pop the river in the middle there. So if I click on that region there, it's then showing that certain areas are impassable, including areas that may be too steep. So it does sort of calculate what can be playable and what can't. And sometimes you get maps that just don't work, and so that's actually okay. So let's just go with this one through here. So we'll just click on Done. And this will be our battlefield that we then go and play. So again, you're playing in a real-world map from the 1980s that is accurately drawn, accurately sort of the topography, the topology, etc. will be done accurately, but sort of a bit abstracted, but it works very well. So I'm going to click on Done. And so this is then how we set up a game. We then get to choose our faction, and so we end up with we got the US Army, the USSR. Now, in the original game, I don't remember Finland being part of the original, but I may be wrong about that one. So this is the West Germans, the East Germans, the British Army, and through there as well, Poland, and then back to US Army. So yeah, we don't have all the checks and stuff. So maybe they will be bringing those out at some other point, as DLC, I would imagine. So we could sort of, for example, play as the British Army with their order of battle. We then have different things, for example, like where we can go to the, this is sort of how they've been set up with their command delay. You can see it's 20 plus 20, plus a random 20 seconds plus 20 sort of random number in through there. The USSR, and if we're playing the USSR in this case, has like a command delay of 30. I don't know if the others, yeah, they're 30 as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much sort of where, and Poland in there as well. Let's just play as, like we'll put Poland in as the opponent side. So we have things like air superiority. We've got that one into that other side. I'll just go through how all of these different ones do work. The artillery delay is anywhere between 1 minute 10 seconds and 2 minutes, whereas theirs is 1 minute 30 to 18 minute delay. with what they have. The combat power, you can sort of tweak this as well to sort of chop and change things as to whether you give yourself or the enemy an advantage. The different types are important, and the game has been revised and rebuilt with the infantry. And so when I hover over these things, we do get tooltips. But essentially, we have like a force of different. We've got infantry back in through here, which essentially just means that you're mainly going to be sort of moving forward with foot troops. You still will have. Well, we still can have mech troops, but not as many. Then you've got mechanised, which is a bit more of a combination of infantry and tanks. And then armoured is still got some infantry, but it's mainly going to be tank forces you then sort of are playing with. And dynamic sort of opens up everything. You can do whatever you like with that. You don't actually have to worry about points to spend or anything like that. You just build what you want and go from there. Just be aware though that you can't actually then switch the battle and play from the other side, because what you do when you save these battles, you essentially are saving a scenario. And so if you play with any of the others, you can then reverse and play it from the other side. So you can do that, but not with dynamic. Dynamic is not playable for the AI. Because it doesn't know what you're thinking. Whereas if you've got these, it's got a way of being with what it does do. The mechanised I quite like, because it does give you the limits, and it's fairly easy to sort of set up like a mechanised battle. And again, you can actually have it so that you're actually going up against a different group through here. They don't have dynamic for the other side, because it's not, the AI is not geared for that style of play. All right, so we then got the dates in anywhere from 65 to 91. So you can sort of pick and choose. This will then impact the order of battle that you then have. So if you know that a particular unit came in a particular month for one of the other forces, and you think, I really want that particular tank or whatever it might be, then that will come through in the database editor, depending on the date that you pick in through this other side. The weather, this is how far you can see. So you can chop and change this. So the worse the weather, the higher the chance for thunderstorms if the terrain variable allows them. So in this case, we can sort of go to poor, for example, wind speed random, day temperature warm. You can change that as well. You can actually change the maps. So if we chose for example, if I choose July, August, September, see how it's now changing the terrain on the actual maps. It's changing the temperature back and through here as well. So as we go from October, November, in December, we've now got cold and winter. So these are affecting different things. And then as we sort of come back through again, January, February, and now we're sort of coming into spring in March, April, we're in spring. And this changes the maps. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go back to a December play. Let's just play this one here in December, so you can see what actually happens, because it changes the and again, that wasn't really a feature, I don't think, of Armour Brigade 1. But if we click on done there and just go with this sort of force, we're not over yet. So what we end up having here is we've got victory points, and they both are on the other side of the river in this case. So, but we've got different ways of playing the game, and this is actually comes to that question about how do you go and do different things. So the location is the Ardennes, the player side is the British Army, the opponent side is Poland. The mission types, so this is meeting engagements means that they're going to start here, we're going to start there, but in this case the objectives are in here somewhere. So this is actually going to be where the objectives sort of are. And again, the objectives are interesting because they're a bit more dynamic than what you think. And so you don't get specific little boxes at the start. It's sort of like an area that it might be, and then it may not even be an actual objective when you start playing. So there's a bit of randomization with that. You've got defend, where in this case we're setting up a defensive area where the Polish forces will then come through from this side and try to attack us. The objectives are now back in through here. We have advanced, in this case it's the opposite, where we have to go and advance into their territory. We have back to meeting through there as well. But when we do something like, for example, and again there was the question about, can you just set up like a defensive battle? And I won't play the defensive battles, but in this case we then actually have what sort of defence do we have? So we've got none. Essentially, it says if one side is defending, then the other side can optionally have its units dug in for extra protection, can also have access to obstacles such as minefields. So if we go to none, we've got dug in and we've got fortified. And so dug in plus fortified, and then back to none again. So what fortified means is that we end up getting the option to then go and buy. I'll keep it on this one just so you can sort of see it, because there was a specific question about it back in through there. But this would then allow us to buy using our points to then get other fortification type things. We'll talk about that when we get there. Start at player edge, we can sort of chop and change this around. Victory points, this is just the victory points by accessing these. 2 objectives, so the number of objectives, I can minimize that to just 1. I can sort of open it up to like 3, for example. A 3 actually won't do it. If I just go to 2, if I just go to random objectives, it will then sort of randomize where it thinks that they could go. But it picks them in logical spots as well. So it analyzes the map and essentially thinks, yeah, that would be about right. So, but you can just randomize where they actually end up setting up. See how it's really hovering around the little village at the top? Because that would be a likely, and this one here. I'll just leave it there. So we're outside the village on a little road, looks like. So that's the dummy objectives, 25%. So the dummy objectives, so the probability for any objective to become a dummy. The dummy objectives are revealed in the after action report phase, which means after the battle. So before that, the player and the AI don't know which objectives are real. Both sides usually see a dummy objective in different locations, and the objective doesn't affect victory points. The system makes the AI behavior less predictable because the player doesn't know if the AI will eventually be in the exact location, and the player is less tempted to stack his units to defend one single objective. And so this is very, very important. It makes it more realistic. And so instead of actually, we think we've got an objective, but we don't know if it's even real. It may not be real. It may not be exactly where we think it actually is. So this sort of mixes it right up. So it makes it very, very different. This is the dummy radius. So in this case, adjust the area size where the dummy objectives may be randomly placed. And so this is sort of where things can sort of be then go in place. I can change the percentage there, to sort of have like different percentages for the dummy areas. So number of objectives, total number of objective locations. Click on the map to place or remove them. Depending on the mission type, the objectives are placed in the player's deployment zone, the opponent deployment zone, or the no man's land. Objectives cannot be placed on any kind of water. So essentially that's sort of where they are through there. Opponent objectives, so this one here is the random objectives are placed according to the player-opponent objective settings. So the default values come from the force type setting. So it likes to be in urban and open hills, essentially is what the objectives would be, but we can chop and change those. Urban closed, you can see it's sort of now finding different areas through there. Open terrain, back and through that other side. And then back to urban open hills, back and through there again as well. So again, we've got different ways of sort of setting these things up. So so you can clear the objectives, reset them, whatever you want to be going and doing there. So the water in this time of the year is going to be frozen. So that means that they will be able to cross the river. So the river will not stop them in this instance. So it's actually a good time for attacks. We can paint zones, so paint no-go and destruction zones and water crossing points. So we can go and do that one through there, and then I think that's the brush. Yes, I can brush type back and through there. There's a lot of stuff you can do through here with what you end up having. So so we'll just go and click on done, and then we actually have our points. Now the way it works is depending on the map type, or we're playing a defense, heavily fortified, dug in thing where we've got 2,800 points to spend. They've got 6,400 points to spend, so they're going to come at us thick and fast. So we have to protect our units, and so we've got mechanized and mechanized. Unit selection manual. I'll keep it on manual for now, but I can essentially. This one is where I have to then go and pick my actual forces. And again, I can chop and change this, so we can give them a penalty if we wanted to, or an advantage. If you're struggling with it, you penalise them. You can do different stuff in through there. Unit selection, you can even go and select theirs as well if you're wanting to. But I just tend to keep that on auto. Sometimes it's fun just to play on auto here, but I'll show you what actually does happen. Now, if I click on advanced, what this one does is this overrides the mechanized force type that we end up having. So when we play as a mechanised group, we end up with only 5% of the total points can be spent on recon, 10% on infantry, 70% on mechanised, 70% on armour. So you can see it actually goes up to a total of 200, but it gives us a bit of flexibility within the point system of where we spend it. But I can override this and then go and save the settings if I wanted to. Maximum settings, I can sort of then just go and chop and change that one a little bit, but it will still, the AI will still know to use the mechanised requirement for that one through there. Anyway, support back and through there, air 30%. So we've got those sorts of things in that sort of side. And similarly for the other side as well. Just go and click on done. We now have to pick our units, and I'll do this when we actually start the game itself. I'll just move my head out of the way. Just bear with me. Just move. I think I'm pretty safe in that corner. There we are. All right. So, sorry, I was set up for distant worlds. Okay, so what we end up having is, you'll see there that we've got 144 points to spend in the recon category, because that's 5% of our 2,880 points. So we've got the total points back in through here. So, and because of that, we can't afford the recce support troop back in through this other side. We can get sort of, for example, Saracen's scout sections where they've actually got like a vehicle. If we go to the reconnaissance patrol section, they're going to be on foot. Notice they're wearing winter clothes. So, we're playing in winter. They're wearing winter clothes. A ferret is just a small vehicle. But let's just go with a patrol section. What these then do is they've got two recce sections in through this other side. If you've got multiple pages, it will show you down in here, and you have to click up here to go to each actual page. So let's just go and add this particular one. If I just go and click it a second time, it gets added to my group. We now have 53 points taken off. Infantry is going to be important in this case. I can't afford the infantry company, but I can get an infantry platoon, and I can't afford to get that. Oh yes, I can. I can get a infantry SHQ. This is like a command team, so let's go and grab that. Yeah, and we also have an infantry platoon in through here. We've got different groups, and you'll see down the bottom there, if I click on one of these groups, this infantry section down through here is actually showing me what they've got, the actual weaponry that they've got down through there. Actually, there's an infantry. I might get rid of that. If I just go and double click on that one, I'll get that platoon. We've got parachute rifle platoons back in through here as well. These don't parachute in. Essentially, they are just essentially the groups that we then end up having. We've got territorial infantry as well, which is sort of more like local garrisons. Again, I'll just go back to the infantry platoon and add that one into the mix. I can still get SHQs. I could get a territorial infantry platoon for 133. I can still afford that one, so let's go and grab that as well. So we'll just go and place both of those in there. So we've now spent 341 points. The mechanised groups, and so we've got the FV 432 mech infantry companies. I can actually sort of go and grab a full one of those if I wanted to, which is going to have a platoon on board. And so this is a 3-tier group. And so I'll just start that again. Actually, I'll leave it in there. But if I go back and click on that one, it's got the SHQ. If I click on the SHQ, it then goes and shows me that I've got an APC with a turret, and then I've got a mech infantry platoon back in through here, which has got another one of these APCs, but another one with a turret. So you can see they're quite different, the actual models that they have. Again, I'll just go to the second page, and then we've got. If I go and click on one of these, I don't know if it'll sort of show it, but there should be infantry in. Oh, there's the mech infantry in this one here. So we've got a platoon HQ. We've got a mech infantry section back in through here again as well. And so these infantry will then come out of their vehicles and do different things as well. And so we have these different guys. So if I leave that one there, I can even get a second one of those, which I'll do, which leaves us only a small amount in through here. I'll just go to the Armour Brigade. We've got a Challenger SHQ, which has just got 2 main battle tanks for 878. I'll just go and get a Chieftain SHQ. You can see I can't get squadrons, but I can get a Challenger troop, which is 3 tanks. The squadron is 5 tanks, and so this squadron here will be 5 tanks as well. But I can just go and get a Chieftain, which is not as powerful the main battle tank. So if I go and grab one of those, we're up to 2,340 points already. Now if I go into This is artillery. So we can have different sorts of things like the different types of equipment that we can then go and use. Assault pioneers, etc., etc. Sometimes you'll end up with getting individual tanks can sometimes be in here as well. I think actually no, that's artillery. This is artillery. This is different again. I won't bother getting any of those. Then we've got the aircraft section back in through here, where we've got like a few different types of aircraft from the AH-1s. So in through here with some abilities. These aren't very expensive, so I could sort of go and grab those if I wanted to. Down the bottom here, this is actually because we selected what we could get in terms of defence. I can either go and grab artillery, so off-map artillery, which is slow to bring in but very, very powerful. You can see there through there it's costs a lot. But then the obstacles, I can go in and actually say, okay, look, I'm going to grab a minefield or a couple of minefields. So that's not costing me a hell of a lot. I can sort of go and pick up a lot of these. But this will come off my points, I think, as I do it. Yeah, it's coming off the points as I do it. So 8 minefields, anti-tank stuff as well, wire, pillboxes with machine guns. Why not? Let's go and grab a few of those. This is now making other things too expensive. Let's just say that that's okay with what I've got. I won't keep on going any more than that one through there. And I'll come back and read some of the comments there when I don't think there's anyone's actually asking specific things about these areas. I'll just see how we go. Just go and click on done. So then we actually have, so when we come into this particular one, it's sort of giving us a summary back over through here. We then actually have round length disabled, so I can actually, so if you want to play the game using the rounds, which is quite similar to the WeGo system, popular in war games, then you can set the round length. You know, Armour Brigade 2, orders can be issued when a round is in progress, but it's not possible to pause or save the game. So I've got that one sort of set to disable, but it's a different way of playing the game essentially. So the round length disabled, if I go to 30 seconds, 60 seconds, this is a bit like the, so if you want to play the game using rounds, which is quite similar to WeGo systems. Now with the WeGo systems are going to be things, for example, like combat mission games, which actually use a thing where you give all your orders and then the game plays for like a minute or 20 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever it might be. So you do actually have that ability to change that as well. Player character then puts you where you would become one of the players in there. So the option forces allows you to assign yourself a unit in the battlefield. If you die, the scenario ends, like a Dazemption game. Your ears follow the player's unit position and orientation, and you hear every sound on the battlefield. If the sound is close enough and loud enough, the player unit has no command delay and has a static moral value. It can act as an artillery observer and can call helicopters for help. In linear campaigns, the option is controlled by the campaign designer. So essentially, you can have a character on the map. I'll just click on one on. This is reduced delay again. If you don't like the command aspects of the game, then you can go and do that one. So I like to have this one on. So if this option is enabled, it allows you to, at the end of the battle, to see what happened everywhere. Otherwise, you won't get to see it. Like if you're thinking that you might want to play it again, then turn that one off. But if I like to just see what actually happened, and then show victory levels in through there. I like to show this as well. It sort of shows you how you're doing in the actual combat itself. And you've always in play enemy sound. So if this option is enabled, then all the battlefield sounds are always played, even if the sound source is not detectable and identified. And if you don't have the player character option enabled, I'll leave that one off. But anyway, that's sort of, and this is where you can then go and boost how well the different forces then sort of go and play. And so it's a defend mission in through here. If I just go and start playing, I might as well show you how the maps work, and then we'll get into the actual game itself. So the map has come in as a winter map. And so it looks when you first, this is actually now showing, do you guys prefer this, where you're seeing these symbols rather than the NATO symbols? Like if I go into the menu and go into options, and go to graphics and go back to NATO and go back. So do you prefer the NATO symbols of what we're seeing through there? I'll just go and resume. Or do you prefer those little stylized symbols? It's probably, yeah, so I've often saying my brain only, okay, got a couple of people saying they prefer the NATO symbols. I'm sort of super used to them as well. So for me, I prefer them. But I always need to sort of ask that, because if people aren't... yeah, okay, so Orange is saying NATO symbols mean nothing to me at the moment. you very quickly pick up on them, like as to what they actually are and how they work. But this essentially, actually, maybe I should play it the other way, just for a little while. I'll just show it with it on anyway at this point in time. I'll just go to menu. I mean, I'm much more used to them, but it's still I can still see what they are just by looking at what the game is sort of showing me. If I explain it, it'll probably be okay. Yep. So okay, then Satan saying I prefer picks of units. Yeah, we'll come back. I will actually in that case just go back to options, but you can always just chop and change. So you have the option there. So if we just go back in and resume. So we can sort of see it now. As I get closer, I actually get to see the actual unit there as well. That's why I'm thinking probably NATO symbols would ultimately be okay. So we've got the little models. These are all dug in at this point in time. I think I can reposition them. But you can see our forces, the ones that we had chosen, essentially are on the map. Now, in the old game, it was very much like you were playing like this the whole way, and you didn't really know what the terrain was doing with your forces. Whereas now that it's actually in 3D, we can zoom right down and actually get a real perspective of the actual battlefield and get a feel for what the battlefield actually looks like. And so you can see through there. There's that frozen river. We've got certain, like these, actually I probably will put NATO symbols back on just because I think it's going to get, they look better once we start to sort of hone in on the troops. We can see what the troops are when we get close enough to them. That's the NATO symbols there as well, just for recon. So we sort of end up with the NATO symbols anyway on them. So I think I might, I don't know, they're quite nice little symbols actually. I haven't played the game with these on. So Bob was saying I'm an old grognard, so NATO for me as well. But yeah, we've got a few people that prefer the picks. Like we can sort of see, like that's to tell that it's a reconnaissance section. But then see this as well, like because it's got the little glasses, whereas that one there is an infantry section with the way it sort of is coming up. Anyway, we won't be playing this one, but this is the so this is a medium-sized map that we're looking at through here with different forces that are sort of now dug in. That's just going to be infantry. So the infantry of in their little foxholes. With what they're doing, so they're just sitting here waiting. But we would then have to position them along the battlefield, try to sort of find the fields of fire. We have like a tool which we can use as well, and say, okay, look, what can we see from this location in through this other side, and we can see we don't see into the valley. If I go into the valley itself, the valley will then sort of make it a bit tighter. This is what the old game was like, but this is still a very, very useful tool. Like if I'm trying to sort of pick where the forces are likely to come from, then this little hill here that we can sort of see would actually ultimately give me a pretty good view of all these different areas. So we can see there it's like a kilometre away. So this is the line of sight tool is actually really quite nice. So I'll just press escape there and escape again. But there's a lot to like about what this game actually then goes and does. Now I can have to build my minefields, so I can actually sort of go and start to I can build them anywhere on this half of the map. So we've got like choke points in through there. And just go and click them. That's anti-tank wires. Not sure what that's doing there. I've got 8 that I should be able to build. Maybe I can't build them there. Oh yeah, I've got to do it back in here. So that I can't do it where the scouts are, but I can just build them in there, for example. Just mine these locations if I need to. So I can just go through and place those different minefields in. If I go back out, I don't think we're going to see any difference if we go back to the NATO symbols. So I'll just go back to the options. I think another reason I do like NATO symbols is the games feel more difficult. As in, they feel more serious with the NATO symbols. You'll get used to them pretty quickly. And I'll explain what they are as we sort of get through. In fact, when we sort of see them, we'll see, like, this is just telling us that that's an infantry section. When we just sort of see like a half one, that's just a recon section. Things like that. So there won't be too many to sort of take care of. These will be mech forces, like an actual APC will look like that one. And then the heavy tanks will be this one here. So there's a chieftain tank, main battle tank, in through this other side, which is a bit different to the standard NATO symbols, but that's what they're using in this particular one. So you do get used to it pretty quickly. And then we actually have the grouping that we sort of see. You can see we can actually go and change. I can change individual sections if I'm wanting to. In this case, the infantry are ahead of their APCs. If I go and click on the mech infantry platoon, I can then go and pick a platoon, which is those 5 there. If I go and grab the company, I'm getting basically everything selected that was part of the actual company, all the different platoons. So I can sort of chop and change things as well. But we'll do that in game. I won't play this particular one. So I'll just go back to the comments and just read through them if that's okay. Now, I'll just go and have a bit of a look at, where do we get to? Yep, so Bastogne is a biscuit factory, says Beamslam. I have no idea what that's referring to. So Screenplay is saying lots of choice and no DLC almost sounds like the love game developers had back in the day. Well, I don't mind DLC when it does add things, and certainly in the original game they did add a lot of stuff. But it's great that they've actually included all the maps from the DLC that we can then go and play with. But all the forces aren't quite there yet, so I'm guessing there will be DLC a little bit. Bennis Pettigrew is saying, hey Daz, did you get a chance to try out lossless scaling? I looked at it very, very closely, and it looks like it only works if I'm streaming if I use the game overlay for recording, and I don't use that. I don't use it because it doesn't work on most of the games that I play. So I ended up thinking I won't spend any more time seeing if it's going to be value. It may still be good, but I just I couldn't see the value in terms of streaming. Maybe for my own personal enjoyment, it would be okay. But yeah, it's not going to translate across into the way that I stream. So in that sense, it didn't look like it was going to be able to do what I wanted to do. But I appreciate that people were suggesting it. I may be completely misreading what lossless scaling actually does too. So Wolverine Tooth is saying even Panzer can cross rivers when they're frozen. Yeah, like it's sort of so at the moment these are frozen solid. So the water here is like with what we end up having is not impassable. Like so, this is water frozen. You can see there it does have infantry trafficability of 70, vehicle trafficability of 80, and so there is actually it's a bit slower than open. If I could hover over this one. That's 90 and 80, for example. The trafficability back in through there in the forest, it's going to have a different again, 50, 20, with what it's actually then doing through there. You get extra concealment. There's a lot of stuff with the terrain that you're looking at in through here as well. So anyway, we've got that one through that other side. Yeah, I'll just go back. I'll just keep on reading the comments. Sorry, get these done. So. Supreme Flag is saying, imagine if the points spent on forces could be set up by Dem players buying their troops. Yeah, that would be really quite dangerous. Hive Destroyer, is this game a bit like a close combat series from the 1990s? Yes and no. Yeah, sort of, except that they were very much curated maps. Whereas this almost feels like random maps, but it's from real-world areas. Because you can play, and I'll show you when we set up a campaign. We haven't done that yet. So we're going to set up a campaign when we do get started here and really sort of go to town with that one. So we did all the NATO stuff, so we've got all those in through there. Yeah, does it have day-night cycles and tracer bullets? Yes, it does. While NATO symbols are what would be on a realistic map, I prefer the unit icons, says Sev. Personally, don't think the NATO symbols be that good, even if I know what they depict. Oh, well, maybe I'll switch back again when we play our game. I'll do it that way. I'm only going to be playing the small forces anyway. So, yep. So anyway, we've got Ostracity saying we can place a few mines as a treat. They won't cause any issues for the civilians once the war is over. Maybe they will. Satan Bale is saying, is friendly fire a thing here? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So from what I can remember, it's been a couple of months since I've played the game, but I think it can be a problem. Beamson saying I'm choking, Daz. Don't know. The Bastogne biscuits is quite known around here. I've got no idea. That's in biscuits. No idea. No idea at all. Okay, back up from YouTube. Yeah, so we've done is moving single units or moving platoons companies. Yep, Armour Brigade says single play. Yep, we've done those. Hi, Bubo. Hector's then sort of saying £30 in the UK. Captain Castle is then saying great intro. Super on the fence with a Steam purchase. Hopefully make up my mind after seeing it play. Yeah, look, I think once you see the next thing I'm going to show you, that's where a lot of you go, oh, gee, that's cool. I'm gonna have to play this. So I'll get to that in just a minute. I'll just read the comments here. So we've got Shin Zadia saying greetings from California. Hi back from Australia. So on the other side of the Pacific. So Brian Leibel saying, hey Daz, just wanted to let you know you're my favourite YouTuber and PC game play through reviewer. Thank you for that. Saying, how do the Trump tariffs affect Steam and video game prices? I don't know. That's a bit of a big unknown, isn't it, really? Yeah, tropical sales have gone through the roof, says Brian. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to mean, actually. I think we're in for a state of flux. So Tropico. Yeah, Tropico is I'm not sure what's happened with the pricing of that one through there. So NATO icons on, looks and feels better, says Pig Mac. Oh, okay. So we've got a few of you that are saying one. So one group wants the other. Oh, look, you'll get used to the NATO symbols. Like you very, very quickly get used to it, because that's more what I'm used to. So Usashin saying, how do I make heli-borne infantry when I set up a mission? Don't know how to get them to enter helicopters. I actually don't know, to be honest. I haven't done that one. So, and I probably won't have time to spend too much time trying to figure out how to actually go and do that one. I'm guessing that you have to land them on the map and have the troops then load in, I would imagine, and then take off again, because helicopters can be made to land. So that's what I would guess it would be. But I won't have the money in the game that we're going to be playing to be able to go and do that. So that's not something I can really do. But I'm guessing that would have to be how you would then do it. But helicopters come in separately to the ground forces. They're not part of your. I don't think you can get helicopters right from the start. You can get them, but they're off map, and then you have to call them into the map. But I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, let's get out of this and. Bimson saying yes, they are. Sorry. Had the Bimson, I think, still talking about the biscuits. Yeah, there's a discussion on Twitch about biscuits, so we'll leave them to that. Let's just go back out and we'll just go to save and exit. And if we go now to this is I think the coolest part of the whole game. Well, in terms of setting up a game. If we go into new game, so we've done the single mission, we've done the generate mission. So I've shown you how to generate a mission using one of their maps. You can actually go to campaigns as well. And so what these are linear campaigns largely, where you go through and do a progression of different sort of designed scenarios with what you can then sort of go and do in through here. So there's one that looks like it's defensive in through the other side. I won't show too much of this one here. Prevent the enemy from reaching the city of Fulda. Your M1A1 tanks and air support play a vital role in this campaign. So there's a defensive campaign through there. Just go back out again, because this is the coolest thing. So we go to new game, generate campaign. This is crazy good. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And so if I go and play, should we play in Czechoslovakia? Yeah, let's do that. Now, if I go and choose minimum, which is 2 kilometers basically, so we've got 2 kilometer maps. Let's go to the width and make the width say about 3 kilometers, so 2 by 3 essentially. So I'll do it the other way. 28 by 1920. So it's a fairly smallish sort of map. So if I want to build a campaign, I can do things, for example, like and you can see through here, I've got player supply 30%, water varied back and through there. That means that essentially the campaign water type will be based on how frozen the terrain is, will be whether the rivers freeze or not. So impassable will always be impassable. Fordable will mean that water can always be crossed or varied. So it'll be based on what actually happens. Now, let's just say that I'm wanting to play a campaign from Mehalozi, back and through this little village, up to for example Norani. So let's just say that one side of the forces will start here. If I then go and click over through at Norani and go to this particular city, that will then build that will be sort of like the direction for the campaign. And if I then right click, it will then go and start to make up maps. It will figure out terrain maps all the way through. So it's now figured out. So our campaign consists of starting in the middle And then if we win this battle, we then play attack battles until we lose one, all the way through these various maps until we get to that location, which is the enemy HQ. So this is like a dynamic campaign. If we lose a battle, we then take our forces, our wounded forces, and then have to move backwards through these different maps to set up defensive locations until we can finally win a battle and then push back again. So we play on these different maps that are real world maps dynamically. And so it's a very, very interesting way of sort of going and doing it. If I click on random sectors, it will then just re-randomize where the actual maps are, which is very, very cool. And so if I just go back and, I don't know if I can just go back to main menu again, just go back into new game, generate campaign. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to go backwards from there, to be honest. So let's go back into the Pilsen region again. We'll go to minimum, and we'll just go to change that to, say, 2880. So that will be sort of where we end up going. So that's one way of doing it. I can also then just go and say, okay, I'm going to start back in here again. But we're going to end up moving down across to Hennevies as part of what we do. Then we're going to go up to this hut area, and then we'll go up to Europees and through this other side. So I can go and tell it that's where I want the map to be generated. So if I go now and right-click, it will now make the campaign through those different locations on the map. And so you can see there it's actually chopped and changed. But we have some of the sectors in here were too difficult to cross this river. So we can't cross that river there. So I can just click on random sectors and see if I can find another way through. You may not be able to do it. No, it's not going to be able to cross. That river's too big. So that's going to be the issue, trying to get something to cross at that location. So I'm going to have to go back again. Now I don't know if I left click to add waypoints. If I can start again. If I just go back in, I just right click and then start again. So from here, 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 I can then go into Strebo where there are, it looks like there's easier crossings back in through here. So I can go to the outskirts and then go up. And so I could still take it that way and then right click and just see if we can now find a way across the river. And so it's sort of saying that this is not going to be fun to play. We've still got a problem here because of this map in through this other side. There's a map there that's going to be too difficult. So let's just go to random sectors and just see if we can bypass that particular location. Yeah, there we go. So that's actually a viable campaign. We've got, like, we start off north-south in this area. We can then sort of move up through here if we're going to be attacking up to there, or we get pushed back down through these different locations. And so, again, real world map, but very much the feel of a random campaign. Now, I'm not going to play that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a really small one. So where should we play this? Bit of a combination of, let's go and play from there, from that location to there. So if we just go and play into that location, say there, and right click. I only want to have I'll just get random sectors again a bit more. Try to keep them so that they're a bit more cohesive. There we are. So that's what this is going to do. Is we're going to start with, we've only got 3 maps in this campaign. So this is a tiny campaign that we're playing. We're going to be playing first of all through that forest in the middle as a meeting engagement. So claiming that forest is going to be really important. The roads are going to be really important. There's a road that runs down the side of the forest on the enemy side, which is going to be different as well. So Major Swifty saying the campaign generation is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. No, it's very unique. It's incredible. Like, it's actually like that is amazing, like what it can do. And the fact that we can then go and play a smallish map like this, and just go and play with it, it's really cool. If I go and click on done through here, so should we still keep on playing British Army versus Poland? I mean, why not? Let's just keep it there. And I'll keep it with mechanized versus mechanized. I think we'll just go that way. I can just go that side. We might play it. Let's actually make it so that it's exactly 40 years. So if we go back out, April. So we're playing in April. So we've got April 1985. It's spring, but I'm still going to go with poor weather, I think, just so we've got sort of like something where we've got like limited vision and wind speed random. The temperature is still cool, but it is now spring terrain, which will then change the map, the way the map looks. Ground conditions will be good. Destruction, I can actually change. The higher the destruction rate, the more collapsed buildings and burnt forest there will be. Let's go and add in, say, 20%. So this has been, let's just say that the combat has been raised, been going crazy here for any length of time. By the way, I can override what the terrain is as well. I can actually go through and pick jungle terrain or desert or barren or summer, autumn, early, late, winter, spring. And so spring was the one that was by default. So we'll just go back that way. In fact, I wonder if it'll then chop and change. If I change, yeah, it does. It does do it. So we'll just go that way. The daylight hours are becoming a little bit more early, so I can actually go and change this one. So we end up, like I can start off at night time. So you can start off at night. It then goes through like a dawn period and then goes into daylight and then finishes off in dusk and then back to night again. So let's start at night and sort of work our way through. And so we'll sort of start with like an early morning attack, essentially. So I'll just start it a little bit closer to dawn. I'll just have it literally one click away from there. So we can set up all this sort of stuff in the game. This is just where the game is, again, just so damn good. I'm just going to grab myself a drink of water, but I'm going to be right back. So Spring Plague is saying one could make a big team battle with those campaign setups. A new player takes over after each... Oh, yes, that's a really cool way. That would be really cool, actually. Yeah, that's a very... like a what do they call a succession game. Yeah, that's a very, very good idea. Like, what a great idea. I don't think I've seen that mentioned, but this game would work perfectly for that. So, Bishop Blastpop saying, can we see some actual gameplay before you... Yes, I do plan on playing for at least an hour and a half, so of actual game. But there's so much to talk about with the way to set the game up. So, my apologies, guys. Let's get into it. Let's just go and click on done. Now, I can just go into like auto in there, but I will keep it on manual. There's not a real lot that we're going to have. You can see through there that in this case, the combat power is not quite enough for them to be able to do it. I'll just go and click that one up. At 2,000 points, that gives them what they need to be able to go and do things. So 1,600 not enough, 2,100 is enough for that to then go and work. So we'll just go across and we'll just go and I'll do manual selection. We'll just click on done. I can automate this, I think. Do I press A? No, I forget how to. I thought there was a way that I could actually go and start off with automated, like just automating everything. We'll start with our mechanised force. And I'm thinking we go with a mechanised infantry company because that's going to give me platoons, which will give me a lot of stuff. So let's just go and start there. That will give me an HQ as well. So I'll just go and start this way. I definitely want to have some tanks. Now I've got an SHQ there with 2 tanks. I've got a tank troop, which is actually less, but with 3 main battle tanks, but they don't have quite the same abilities, I don't think. I think I'm going to go with the 3 tanks. So we'll go with those. That's 1,400 points. Support, I will go with... actually, I do definitely need to get the reconnaissance. So I'm going to need to be moving forward, so I'm going to need to end up getting some pretty good reconnaissance. Now, we've got a Fox Scout section with 2 Fox cars. We have a Scimitar again. We can sort of see what the loadout is through here. These ones have got night vision, so that's, I think all of these will have night vision. Yep, so night vision, that's probably a better, actually no, the Fox is probably better actually ultimately. Scorpion tank in through that side, and then the Spartan back in through this other side as well. Even better again, with a recce section on board. So we've actually got troops with a Spartan APC. Let's go that way. So let's go and throw that into the mix. So that's now taken up. We've only got 11 points left in recon, but we're sort of closing in on the points we actually have at the top through here. Now the infantry, infantry platoon, I think I prefer to get like a motorised infantry platoon. in through here, and the trucks, just so we can move them forward. So let's go and grab one of those as well. So we're getting up there now. Tanks, I can't get any more of those. Support. So then we actually have like more specific things. So if we go in and have a look at the, we've got rapier sections, like surface-to-air missile. Some of these have got radars as well. It may not play a big role in the battle that we've got, so I'm not sure if we go and do that one. We do have anti-tank sections, but we can sort of can do that ourselves. The anti-tank section through here will give us an APC. Yeah, that one might be worth getting. It's got a striker section through there as well. Yeah, so we've got those different strikers there. Let's go and grab one of those. We also have just like, essentially, foot mounted as well. LAWs and MAWs back in through there. What else have we got that we should be looking at through here? Okay, this one's got a tripod mounted machine gun, medium mortars. I might grab at least one of those. Yeah, can't afford any more of those. And so we're pretty much at the limits, so that will do us in this instance. So we'll just go and click on done. Round length is disabled. Player character, I won't worry about the player character in this case, I don't think. I'll just leave everything else where that actually is. And so we'll just go and just call this one DAZ01 and save. So we've now saved it essentially as a campaign. Just go and play. Now we do end up getting a little bit extra that we can go and place into here. Now the artillery is off-map artillery. I can't afford it, so I won't have any off-map artillery. I can get some helicopter support. So we have different things like or aeroplane support. I've got Harriers, I've got Jaguars coming back in as well. The Lynx back through this other side, which is for just 182. So what have I got with, what's the amount that I have? I've got up to 2665 now. Gazelle Scout helicopter, the AH-1s back in through this other side. If we go with a Jaguar, 2 Jaguars, the Harriers, what have they got? They've just got we've got rocket pods and cluster bombs, air-to-air missiles. I don't think I'm going to be able to use them as to shoot down. If there's helicopters though, I could use them. I'll go with yeah, this has got just big bombs essentially. So I've got different loadouts for the Jaguars. I'll go with a yeah, no, I'll go with a Harrier. Done. So we'll grab a Harrier in through there. I can still get something else. Let's get a Scout helicopter just so you can see how these are then used. If you want to go the Gazelle or the you've got the Scout in through there. I'll go with this one here, which has got anti-tank guided missiles. That one there is nothing. It's just purely for scouting. The Lynx is it's got 8 of those. That one has got 4 of those. Anti-tank guided missiles. Track on wire anti-tank guided missiles in through here. Got 8 of those. All right, I'll grab that. All right, that'll do us. So we don't have, we actually can get another one of those. All right, we'll get 2 of those. Done. Okay, so we've got what we needed there. Can't have obstacles in this one. So when we click on done, it's now going to sort of set up the game, and it'll start off at night time. So we've got a night start. And so what we need to do is we need to, there's one objective that in the actual map itself. So that's actually what we have to ultimately get. But with this game is not about rushing the objective. This game is about getting rid of enemy forces as you sort of start to play it. So you can see that we're loaded up on this side of the map. There is actually a middle ground in through here as well, and there's middle ground there, and they'll be starting over through this other side. If I can get my forces into this line here, while they're coming through this area, we're going to have an advantage. And this is where it's important for us to now have a look and see what we can do. They've got a road across the front. So really this position here is critical that we get there as fast as we possibly can. Now, where's our scouts? Our scouts have been positioned down this way. And we don't have any other scouts anywhere else on the actual map itself. So setting up is actually, I was considering actually starting off with a preset map, but in this case I'll just sort of position them where I need to, but it's vitally important that you position your forces sort of where you need them. I'm really in two minds about whether to change the visual. I'll just go back that way and just resume and just see if that is helpful. I think we can all see what's going on there. I think we can see that, so I'll leave that there. We're getting the NATO symbols for the larger groups anyway. So what we want to be doing is we've got to be thinking, okay, look, we're going to have to, and it might be easier to have a bit of a look at a bit of a 3D look of the actual map itself. In fact, we can see when I come back down this way, I do actually have a hill here. Not that I can see past the tree line, but I can come around this other side here. There's a road that goes all the way down the side. That is going to be, again, very, very important getting into this position. So scooting through here is going to really be a very important location as well, just to control what happens with these houses. And so we're just in the pre-dawn at the moment. Yeah, so in that case, I might keep my scouts out of that area. We do actually have some water on the map. And if I just leave it and hover there for a second, this is impassable. This here is water that is just a stream, so it is passable through there. Got another water course there, which is a stream. So streams we can cross. There is a bridge there. So this road becomes critical for crossing. There's a big road through there. And we've got this road down here, which is critical as well. So in the sense of how we then approach getting into this tree line, I think we're going to have to just really pump forces into there. Now there is another stream here that is hopefully just a stream. Yep, that's a stream. And so we can, it's the dilemma that we've got, and with, again, it feels like a random map because of this. We have to somehow get to this location, which means we do have to assault this. There is a road that goes around this side as well, and again, it's not random. It's just that's where it's been positioned. So we are going to have to take that, but the road is a dead-end road, but it doesn't matter. We can still get there. So we're going to need to send a force up this road to then make sense of that. In terms of our tanks, if we just get down really low and just sort of see, is there any vision ultimately from any of these hills? And there's really not, because it's only when we get to here and over here that it starts to open up. So I think I'm going to move my tank forces to the right hand side. So if I just go and grab those, and you can see there, this is a Challenger tank troop. If I grab the Challenger tank troop and have them selected, I can then change how they actually what their formation is. So at the moment they've got orders back and through this other side where I can change sort of how they then go and work. Pop smoke, reattach. They've got standard operating procedures. This is how they're then going to sort of be operating. So in this case, I'm just going to leave them where they are. Fire for effect is okay. And I can also then go into the formation. And so the formation, I can put them in a column formation, and I can then tighten the formation up. So I can actually have it so that it's actually negative spacing. So I can start to sort of then go through and reduce the spacing. Now there is a keyboard shortcut for this, and I can't remember what it actually is. That gives me a column of tanks. And we're going to be doing this a lot with our forces. Let's just go and press space down through this other side and position them there. So the tank section is going to be down in that section. We then actually have all of our infantry is spread all the way across. I'm going to have to spread them out into 3 different groups. We've got 3 platoons. So when I click on the mechanized infantry, you can sort of see it's hovering over these different groups. Each of the platoons is in through there. So let's also put them into the column. So we're just going to go and grab these, and because we want to rush to these locations here. So I'm just going to go and go to formation, column, and I'm not sure if the minus key, in fact, if I go and do F1, F1 should bring up, I thought that actually brought up the information. Is it Shift F1? There we go, Shift F1. Shows me the hotkeys. So what I'm looking for is selecting and placing units. That's previous units. We've got the formation is where, You're not seeing the formation types in through that other side. That's waypoints, time compression. Just try that again. Shift F1. No, that's just purely the map. Oh, that's it there anyway. So we've got the keyboard shortcuts there, but it's not showing me the keyboard shortcuts for for changing the formation types. But anyway, we've got the so we want that group to also be compressed, so that they're nice and tight. We also have the this infantry platoon, which is just motorized. So this was sort of separate. We've got this one as a separate one. We're just going to go and press space and move that over to there somewhere. And I'll put this one also in column mode, but I'm going to put this one more central. In fact, what I might do is actually just have it go through the middle of the map. Let's just move it down to here. And so it's just moving into those different locations. So I'll just keep those where they are. This infantry platoon in the middle here, we'll just go back into column mode. Actually, could even just leave them where they are, but maybe just tighten them up. Get the spacing nice and tight. Same with this one over through here. Spacing tight. We do actually have these as well, these striker anti-tank sections. So I'm just going to go and grab those. We'll put them fairly central. So just leave them over here somewhere. And again, I'll just get the formation spacing fairly tight with these. Just move them into that location, maybe a bit further back initially. So what we want is we want these to rush forward into this area for this particular mech infantry platoon. So we're just going to go, in fact, I might even use, we've also got this infantry platoon in here with trucks. I might move them up actually and have them positioned to go through that side. Thanks for the subscription there, Stormworm. This setting this up is very, very important, by the way. It's not, you can't just, if you start off with where they start, you're going to run into all sorts of troubles. So you don't want to be doing that. So just going back into formation, we'll go into column and we'll go into reduce spacing and have them starting up here. And what I can do is I can also then just go across and tweak what we end up having. So we've got two of them on roads. This truck, space, I'm going to move that onto that road, space. So I can actually just tweak the way these trucks are working. And so that's going to be, that they're going to start off moving up. Now what I wouldn't mind doing is having one of the scouts also operating somewhere in around this this open area. So I'm going to probably split these up, I think. So I can actually go to the Spartan here and go and press space. And I want to keep it sort of hidden away. So I'm just going to go and position it maybe in here. And again, if we have a bit of a look and just sort of see what's going on, you know, what will it see? It will see a lot from there. And so it's just going to be hidden in the forest, you know, doing what it's doing at that particular location. So it's sort of hidden away. And it will be able to see a little bit through the forest, but I just need to get an idea of what's coming through. So the scouts do sit in that no man's land, and I also then want to have the other one operating from probably in here, I think. So I'm just going to go and position that one by pressing space into there. And there's a bit of a rise there, I think, as well. Yeah, so we've got a bit of a rise. That way we can see what's going on down through that side. Now, it's probably not really enough scouting to be able to effectively do anything. One thing I want to do with these forces is I want this one, these groups. See how that they're now red, like they're no longer cohesive. They're too far away. But if I just go to each one of these, the standard operating procedures I want for this one here is the soft target range. This is actually what they're going to do. I want them to hold their fire versus soft targets and hold their fire versus hard targets. So that way I don't want them firing. I want them to sit back, and you'll notice it's now got a little symbol there as well. And I want this one to be the same. Hold. That way they're not going to give themselves up. And we'll do that as we start to play the game as well with different groups. This one here, I'm going to have the tanks come in last. I don't want them to go in first. So with this particular group, God, I'm even thinking of moving the other truck group in first, and that way I can still keep my other. Actually, I've only got one. I'm just going to my order of battle. I've only got one other infantry platoon. Okay, so that's the only one I've actually got on these Bedford trucks. That's okay. The striker I'm going to keep in the middle. These I'm going to keep to support this one over through here. I'm actually happy with where they are. Or happy-ish with where they are. If I just go and press space. So they're up against that line there. And I'll, oops, I'll move that one as well. Okay, and we have to also give orders. We should give orders with what we need to do. Now, where are we likely to have to use look, we got the objective there, so I'm thinking we're going to have to move this medium mortar. We'll keep both of them together, and we'll keep them sort of over in this side, and then move them up. So just press space and just move them across. The strikers. And we don't have any anti-air, so we're going to have to sort of stay in the forest for a lot of these. And I'll move these in behind as well. So just press space in through here. So we'll just keep them. So that's going to all be going down through this road, into this road in through there. This one's going to move up this road and then move in manually. These two are going to scoot down that road. So what I will need to do with this group is this particular platoon is press space and have it ready to race on down that road. The tank will be... I've got to think about what I do with this because we do have the anti... I wonder if I can move them around the other way. I might do that actually. I might keep the tanks... I'll just change their formation to a line and position them this way. Let's get the strikers to also just stay in the line but to position them over here. Okay, so that sort of gets those done. So the tanks, I only want to bring the tanks in mid-battle. I really don't want them, like they're there if there's a threat somewhere. So we're going to have to sort of get them off the road. So I'll just keep them there as well. Okay, so that's sort of position where we want to be. A good idea is to then go and save what we're doing. Yep, so this is British Army Poland DAS 01, and I'll just go and click on save. And I think we're ready. Actually, oh no, sorry, we're not ready yet. We have a few different things we need to do before we even go and do this one. I'll just go back into resume. So we don't actually have any off-field artillery, but I can still do target points in through here, and actually sort of just, this allows the artillery we have, which is just these two mortars, to be able to then go and look and see what they can actually then go and do. So if I go into the TRPs, back and through this other side, so this is like the target requisition points. I can then go and click where I think I'm going to need to be attacking. Now, I think I'm definitely going to be needing to attack into here somewhere. So this will be one TRP. Oh, hang on, that's mines. That's, do I have it? No, I don't. Actually, sorry, I don't have any. I don't have any because I only got medium artillery. Sorry, I don't get to do any of these. So no, I don't have to do anything else. So we've got those in where they actually are. Instead of saying, teasing us with saying ready so we can come into off-lurk mode. So, yeah, those well-known tree dwellings, yes, there we are, the APCs. Sorry, I'm missing a fair few comments in through the other side there on YouTube. Are there any DLCs for AB2? Literally, the game has just come out on Steam as of today, basically. So today's first day. It looks like there may be some that will come based on the previous game, but all the maps from the previous DLC are in the game, so it's sort of funny. I'm assuming that there will be different combat groups that will come into it. So Pigmac is saying only plays West German, says I love martyrs. There we are. And Kat sort of saying hi Daz, I brought a i3 processor. Now my PC can handle some new games, but I use half of my monthly payment for it. Oh, that's a lot. Have a book about World War and shows all the tactics they use. The Axis has better strategies than Allies and better equipment always. Yep, this is Cold War. We're in the Cold War era. So we've anyway. Let's continue on. Let's now start the game. We've done a save, so we can always save scum if I have missed something. So now I've set them to not attack. That can be important. Let's get started. So, oh, here we go. Sorry, they're undesignated. I knew there was stuff I had to do. So the air support, we do need to get these ones ready. The Harriers are ready. We just give them a target. The Lynxes, what we have to do is tell them where they're going to come in. So the entry or exit point, we're going to Just go down so we're looking sort of straight up. So you can see there I can slide along the base as to where they come in. So I'll start here, and then we have where they're going to be positioned. Now I'm thinking I'm going to start off with them going to a position point here. So so I'll just go on like around that hill somewhere. So we're still staying a little bit further back, and then we're going to go over this way. And so this is their target point. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do that again. Actually, where are the air things? I knew there was something else I had to go and do. I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is down there. We've got artillery, which we've got basically nothing of. Air support. This is the one that we have to then go and do. So I've got the links. So I'm going to have it come through. I'm going to have it now. It's looking at the daylight, so I'm thinking that we'll end up with it coming in above this tree line here. So in around here somewhere. And this is the that's you can see there the anti-tank guided missiles. At the moment, that's what I can see. But we don't plan on really having it doing too much. And I'm just going to have, it's got no line of sight down that way, but I'll still actually just keep the TRP, the target point there. And then the second place I want it to go to is over here, with a target point over in here somewhere. Now that's sort of just telling it that that's what we think it's going to do. The other links, let's go in the opposite direction. So we have it come, its plan is to fly, so we're just giving it its flight orders. Now this is its nighttime attacks. Let's go and bring it into, say, over here somewhere. With that one through there, and then we'll move it across to the central area as well, if we have to. All right, so they're now waiting, waiting for to be brought in. So there's nothing much else we need to do. Actually, sorry, there is one more thing we have to do, and that's to give the orders. If we don't give the orders before we start, so that we're going in saying, okay, guys, we need you to rush forward and do things. If I go and tell this group so we're not ready to actually unpause the game just yet. We need if I don't give orders and then I give the orders to move, what the problem is going to be that they're going to then have to wait for the command to catch up, and it could take a minute for them before they actually move off. So I'm much better off to actually go in and give them the orders now. So we've got sorry, what's the pathfinding? So if I go into, I've forgotten again what the keyboard shortcuts are. If I go into, this is orders in through here. Load, unload, pop, smoke, reattach. That's not it there. So with this particular group, pathfinding, I want this to be quick, but I want them to be effective with whatever they do. Rate of fire will be fast. So I'm just sort of setting up what they're going to be doing. Unload and contact, yes. So we'll just go that way. They will already have what they have for each one anyway. But there is the actual movement. Orders. Yeah, if I right click. If I just go and grab the group, I'm going to right click up to here. So I've told them to move quickly to this position. And so I want them to go fast into that position. And so we're going to have fast movement to there. So that's going to be what we want these guys to do. So they'll go along that road, and then from there we want them to unload. So I'm just going to go and right click again, and then just go into unload, and it's sort of into that location there. All right, so that's going to be their orders. And if we have a look at each of these trucks, we should now have they should have the orders to now move off. Why are they not showing it? There is a way to show the orders. Maybe I haven't shown that. Sorry guys, I'll just go and press escape, options. Let's make sure that we are showing waypoints, show selected. Yeah, we've got it selected there. We're just not seeing it yet. But anyway, we'll just, actually maybe it needs to be set up before we can actually go and do that one. This group in here, I want them to also just advance into the forest initially. that will do us. These guys are going to also advance into this area, and we'll just sort of manipulate them automatically as they do different things. The tanks, I'm going to have them advance up onto this road here, I think, and just stay in reserve, and they'll find their own way when we get them to do this. Then we've got these guys. These are going to rush and then come off this one. So we're just going to go and tell them to go fast into this position. And then we'll get them to also offload, I think. Going on. Then unload. Okay, so that's the whole group that we're giving those orders to. And we'll get the strikers to go into this area as well initially, I think. Oh, do I want to keep it more central? No, maybe I still think that's actually pretty good there. So we'll just get them to advance. Because there will be scout forces that we have to also locate and kill with what does go on. All right, let's now save that, because that is now set up and ready to go. All right, done. Okay, so we'll just go back and finally get started. So it's now, things are now running. These guys don't have any delay, they're just moving up. We've got these different points sort of showing where things will be if we do bring them in. Now we're getting unknowns. So we're seeing unknowns in the back through here. We thought this might happen through this village, because this village gives them a lot of protection. So, so I'll just keep it going until we start to see things. Start to sort of get a bit of a feel for what they can spot. Now we've got to somehow find the enemy scouts. This one's sort of dug in, this one's not. These guys are now moving up through the areas. These trucks have finally got to this position, which is good. They've got there without scouts actually getting across to them. They're making their way up through the forest. And what's happened to the others? Right, I don't know what's happened to their orders. If I go to the others, we should start to see that they've got the actual orders have been given to them. But these ones here, we need to well, advance up to there, and then we need to offload into that location. So you can see their delay, 2 minutes before it picks up that order. So it's actually this is where things sort of go a bit crazy. These have actually they've lost their order. Because the lead truck got too far out in advance. Just go into advance this way as well. Oh, hang on, I've just got the other one selected. It's backspace, does that do it? It can sort of everything. Okay, advance to there, and then offload. Then we deselect that one, select this one. And unload that one as well. So this is going to take a while. They're going to be sitting in trucks for a little while. And I forgot to move these up. So we'll just get these moved up into this location. So advance into there. And only 20 seconds for them to pick up the command there, so they're not slow like these guys. These ones are sort of now moving up into the location that we want them to be. But see, even the tanks, one tank has decided to go through the forest, but the others are all moving in around the outside edge. So we'll just sort of keep everything sort of going, or maybe sort of just zoom down a little bit. It's still night time. Move this one off its location a little bit if I wanted to try to get it to also dig in. So they're moving nice and quickly. We're now seeing the actual troops on the ground, so we're seeing the little NATO symbol. Oh, okay. Okay, the medium mortars are now, what they're doing is they're actually now picking up the pieces to, so they've actually now packed themselves up, and they're going to move off and then reset themselves back up again. So that's all fine. We now have troops on the ground that are now coming back out of these trucks. Should do. Enemy ground unit spotted. I'll just pause it. Whoa. All right, so there was a scout in behind us. It's night time though, so this little recon area through here has come along this road. As we thought that might be a bit of a problem, so they've already infiltrated us quite dramatically, and so we're in a very, very vulnerable position here with what we're actually sort of seeing. So this one here, we've got the Bedford trucks. They're going to have to offload very, very quickly. So and same with this one as well. The Land Rover is our main attack, but we're now facing the wrong way. So let's just see what actually happens here. There we go. Our forces have now hit the ground. This is good. So they've actually sort of unloaded from the actual vehicle itself. They will attack this automatically. We don't have to tell them to go and do anything. And so they've got so this particular group that's now offloaded. Now, does this one also? I think this one may have also offloaded. Maybe not. We've only got this one here, this infantry section. But if we can kill this thing off before it can sort of really do any damage to the trucks and things, that would be very, very valuable. And so these have got the semi-automatic rifle. They've got a light machine gun back through here as well. And so they've got the hand grenades. They've got LAWs, 4 of those, and Carl Gustavs. So they've certainly got enough to be able to take out this particular vehicle. So just a recon support. And we can see through there that it's got armour of 14mm KE and 40mm CE. I'm not sure what the KE and CE stands for anymore. I've forgotten what that actually is. Our trucks don't have any real armour. Like if we go to the information in through here, just tells us what they actually sort of have. Survivability is poor. Armour is terrible. Of course, actually, so that's KE there. I don't know what these are. This is... it's to do with the different types of anti-tank weaponry. If we go and have a look at I don't think we can actually see anything about the BRDM. We can only sort of look at the basic stuff. So it's got a coaxial machine gun. So these guys do need to get this thing done. Guys, shoot it. Now we've got it now. We're now targeting this. Now, the Bedford truck is, they've now finished unloading their passengers. The Bedford cargo truck is now taking fire from this vehicle. So we can sort of see there that it's now firing. If we just go in and look at it from this particular angle. So that's now come in and it's spotted the truck. It still hasn't seen, now I thought it would have night vision goggles back in through that other side. And so what's interesting with this one, we're sort of seeing they know now these infantry group that we've got selected are aware of the gunfire, so they've actually heard the gunfire. Now this has been hit by our guys, so our guys are now firing at it, and it's the truck has taken damage. No damage done to this one here, but we have hit the left hull, and see at the 70 degrees, this is actually where every bullet is modelled here. And so they're firing at the truck. The truck is now empty essentially except for a crew. But we hit, like the first bullet actually hit this one on the armour and deflected up. If we just go in, we're also now seeing that there's actually another target here. Okay, we've got another one that's just coming through here. So this is another BDRM. So we've got a bit of a problem. So we can sort of see with this particular group, we've now got 2 targets that we're now aware of. The others that are now coming back through, we have these that are now making their way up into the forest, and we'll have to offload their troops so they can start to move forward. The other 2 targets that they have, now we're in the middle of unloading the passengers from in here, like the headquarters, which is not going to be good enough. So that's the two different scouts are in there. Let's just see what actually happens in through here. I can go to slow and sort of go into like a slow mode. Oh, we missed with the missile. Now we've unloaded this one as well. This is cool. So they're not aware of this other one just yet. They'll have to sort of then go and get what they need to go and get. The Land Rover is important because this is actually this is how we're getting our communication. You can see there those little green lines. This is the radio lines that in the actual game itself. So there's a lot that does go on in through here. Missed from 50 millimeters range, or 50 meters range. Yeah, I know it's pretty crazy, but it's night time. Remember, so our guys don't have night vision goggles. I don't know if theirs do, but we're now aware of this recon that's come out of the forest here. So we have these little combats, and again, we're just in a tiny little area of the map. We're not seeing anything else there yet. These are unloading, which is important. I think it's going to be important that we actually unload the troops into here as well, pretty much. So I'm going to tell these guys to unload their forces. I'm sort of confident that they will be able to do what they have to do. So let's go to the whole group here and just tell them that their job is to unload their passengers into this region. It's only 25-second delay for that. So we'll just go and do that. Okay, that will be okay. That way we can start to sort of then move up into this area. And we don't know how many different scout groups there's going to be. These guys are still stuck down in here, just waiting for their orders to be fulfilled. Still 1:12 before anything happens. We're talking split-second stuff here. So unfortunately that first missile missed. If we have a look at the actual group that's in through this other side, this is F5. So this will be F4. F1 will be this one through, or F0, F1. Yeah, F1 there. And so this is an infantry platoon HQ. So the HQ still has an LAW. It's got 2 of those. And these have now used up one of their LAWs. Let's see what happens here. No damage. Still hitting it. And we've just got our actual headquarter vehicle just got destroyed by the other one. This one is now, oh, this is interesting as well. This one is now buttoned up. So it's taking fire, so it's now gone in, which will mean that it's not as effective at seeing things. So infantry could possibly still actually prevail here. We're hearing areas, and so again, we're seeing information here. We're seeing all the stuff that's going on. We can just go and actually look at it from their perspective. So I can actually go to any unit and go and sort of just go across to and see it from their perspective. So they're targeting that one through there. Let's see how we go. Okay, we did hit this one. Infantry fire. We lost the Land Rover, so that one was taken. The infantry section is now taking fire from this guy. So they're now firing at the infantry section, and see how the light is now. This one has been destroyed, and so the fire that comes from there is now lighting up the infantry. So this will then make it easier for this to then go and see it. Now we've got the others have now just finished unloading down in this area of the map, which I'll just let them do that for a little while. Oh, we missed again. We've now taken cover. So the group here will sort of see they're suppressed, but they're still confident. Still only got 2 LAWs, so this is not good. And this one has got no damage done to it, but these guys are also suppressed at this point in time. So taking a little bit of damage down through that other side as well. So if we have a look at the information, we can then sort of go through, what they do, what they're like, etc., etc. Their different weapons. They've got no night vision, so they're just basically shooting blindly. These ones I assume would have night vision, but we can't see what their deal is until the battle's over. Ah, there we go. So it just fired again the left hull and destroyed that particular one. So that's one of them gone. That's good. And this was just destroyed by a high explosive anti-tank. And again, if we have a look at this particular group, that was one of the Carl Gustavs. So it used like the Carl Gustav rifles. So again, if we have a look at the information, it will then sort of tell us. I can click on Carl Gustav. I then get the information about the Carl Gustav. There was a question earlier about how detailed all the information actually was in the game, and so this is sort of the information that we get to see. It's essentially telling us aim time 7 seconds, time to fire 10 seconds. This will then change also depending on how green or experienced the troop actually is. But in this case, we've got a high explosive anti-tank, ammunition ready and stowed. We've got 2 ammunition with this guy. Now they've actually used up one of them. The LAWs, they've still got 2 of those as well. They're still high explosive anti-tank as well. So that's good. That's a good start. And it shows us there the range and the accuracy as the range goes off. And so the penetration is 300. It really just needs to get a hit with this. If I go back to the Carl Gustav has got 350 penetration, which is very, very high. And then accuracy is really quite high through there, except it's night time. And so and these don't actually have night vision goggles. So that's now done. So it's a bit from either side now. Now the reason that we're seeing these scouts is because they ended up essentially being right on that halfway point, and they've come in as we were moving up as well. So they're sort of now moving through. These guys are now offloading. We can sort of see through those. These ones should be offloading as well. I want them to actually offload, just so we can actually then end up with infantry dug in and just be in a position where we can then respond. This game is not a game where you need to be rushing around. Like, you want to get your objectives, take them, and then sort of move in. So we've got all of our infantry in through here. So let's now just go with these different, this is the platoon HQ, and so I'm going to move it across into here. So I'll keep it back a little bit because it doesn't have quite the same degree of what the others have got. It doesn't have any anti-tanks equipment. So I'm just going to go across into this other side. I'm just going to go advance into there. This one here, E1. I'm seeing that I'm getting both in this instance. Mech infantry. These ones do have the LAWs and then the Carl Gustavs. So I'm just going to go and get it to advance up into, say, here. Keep it in the forest. See, it's 1 minute before it'll actually take that order because it's a little bit further away. That one there is I'm going to move up into here. Yep, so that's all going to be okay. I can set ranges and stuff in through here as well against hard and soft targets. But I'll just leave them on default for now. And this group as well. Let's get them to advance. And again, it's a 1 minute delay before their orders come through. These I'm just going to keep back in support. We don't know exactly what we're going to do with those just yet. And these as well. We've got the Spartan APC. I might even move that up. Just into that location. Just trying to move across to there. Escape. I don't want both selected. They're right on top of each other. I'm going to get rid of its order and just get it so that it's probably even just moving to here. And at that point we'll get it to unload. going. That one there, I'll also move it back. And unload. It's also moving across, which is fine. And then we tell it to unload as well. So they're just coming up with their orders. I think I'll keep the tanks back where they are, just in case there's like some sort of attack that comes through. So I won't move them up until we actually see them. These will need to unload as well. Didn't take. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Last waypoint, okay. And this one here. Unload. Okay, so they're going to unload their troops now. I'm thinking that this one, the infantry should be able to take them out. You can see through there that we are taking damage and also, you know, we're confident but suppressed with that little line through there. So the information we get back is fairly good. This one is now showing us a little shield symbol as well. Like we're now down on the ground, which means we should be able to, we're getting a little bit of protection through there. This one here, we do actually have the motorized platoon is in there. Even though the truck was destroyed, these are the passengers dismounted through here. That should be the crew. No, this one's still actually active. This one is buttoned up here, so the crew is still active in there. This one here has just been destroyed. So let's continue. I'm looking also over here just to sort of see if anything does show up on the mini map. Just to sort of keep a bit of an eye on there. So let's just go forward and just see what actually happens now with this one. So we're aiming with these guys. You know, it's firing back. So that one has been completely destroyed. You know, aiming at that one as well. Got it. Okay, so in this case, we've now got the. The first one was destroyed by the high explosive anti-tank by the recon. Actually, if I open this one up, we can then start to sort of see what's actually happening through here. I might keep it open for a little while, then we'll sort of put it back up again at the end of there. So, and then the second one was destroyed by the actual HQ command, like the HQ team. This is the infantry platoon HQ. We no longer have radio contact, which is going to slow down our orders. With the actual group. So when we tell them to go and do something, it's now going to take time, even longer, to move them off. Now, the fact that we've now destroyed both of those, what I really wanted these guys to do was to move into these locations. And so I'm going to tell them to still go and do this. I'll just go and bring that one back up. I could wait for the others, but I think we'll actually just get them moving off. So let's go and tell them to at least get into this heavy forest. So with that one through there, we're just going to tell them to advance. Yeah, 2 minutes. It's still 2 minutes. So that's okay. That's fine. So we'll just get them to go to there. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that last one. Delete last waypoint. Okay, that's done. And the HQ, I'm just going to keep this one a little bit further back. So they're just going to go advance. Advance essentially is they're going to shoot at things as they go. Contact is to walk up and do what you can essentially to a as soon as you make contact to sort of dig in. Scout is essentially advance cautiously to contact, and so scouting is sort of what we want to do, sort of. Fast is just go through as fast as you can, which is what we did with these two trucks. Reverse back, rotate, defend. Rotation to a waypoint is actually important. I should have done that with these other trucks before we got started, and set the actual ranges as well. I can tell them how far before they start shooting. But anyway, let's just go and move this. We'll just go and do this one as an advance up into this position there. Okay, and that'll do us. The others are still miles away. They're still stuck on the road, and so we're waiting for them to move up to this position. Still 43 seconds. So these guys have already had their interaction, and this is where, like, I don't have to pause all the time, but I really like it in this game just because so much can go on. Let's unpause now until we sort of get something else happening. Oh, there we go. We're now hearing something else over here. So we now have another problem, and so this group in through here, this particular section was told to move up to that location. They're still sitting on the ground, but there's something else that's actually back over this way, and we don't know what it is. So let's just watch and see if something comes out of here. It may be that they've got 3 in their scout areas. So they're firing at us, and we're firing at something in the trees. In that case, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go and I'm going to grab the truck and tell it to retreat, reverse back a long way. I can't tell it to go specifically behind a tree, so it's not as detailed as, for example, Combat Mission, where you can say, I want you to go behind that tree there, but I can say reverse into here. So I can just go and tell it to go that way, but it's going to take a minute before it actually responds to this. But reversing, not that the facing matters with trucks, but at least that sort of gets us started. What I might do is with these guys here, actually I've still got that one there, that's okay. Oops, no, we want to get rid of that last waypoint. I'm bad with the waypoints. There we are. Now we were going to tell them to advance off, but I think I'll let them just do what they're going to be doing here. We don't know what we're dealing with at this point in time, so let's just see what we can find. We are firing at it, whatever it is, but it's sort of unknown. Something bounced off something. See how the bullets are bouncing? But we don't know what's going on. This is like the fog of war is too much. But there's a vehicle, obviously. The fact that it's bouncing is, and we're seeing the bounces, means that there is actually a vehicle in that position. So let's just keep that one going. Yeah, it's really bouncing a lot. We can't see anything just yet. Now that will suppress whatever it is. You're getting a lot of reflections. Actually, I'm glad I started it in the night time, to be honest. It's it does add a little bit, doesn't it? So Racky the Red saying, do you have the capability to fire illumination rounds and smoke? Yes. Yes, we do, depending on the unit that we have. So so with the units we have, for example, if we go back up, these guys here have got the medium mortar. If we go and have a look, see how it does have illumination rounds there. So we do actually have 4 illumination rounds that we can use. So that's actually something we can use there with the medium mortars. So and they've also got 5 smoke along with their high explosives. So they could be used to do that. Now they were supposed to be moving off. I was actually trying to get them to move off. Orders. Attached to formation. That's not going to matter much. Yeah, like it's in this case, I won't worry because the time delay to get them to fire is going to be too long. Let's just wait and see how our guys go. Like we have essentially got illumination because of this fire here and that fire there. So, but we'll see what actually happens here. I don't think anything fired back at us. Yes, there is, and there's another move. We can hear something in here. It may have been 2 scout sections or something like that. Okay, so this one's now been immobilized. Back over here. Oh, we've got stuff happening. So it's been immobilized, but I don't think it was taking fire. This is CO. So it could have just gotten bogged. So so we need to essentially get its force out, and it is now going to be moving off as well. This one is was always dug in. This one is no longer. Well, it's basically, you can see there's a bit of smoke, or a bit of dust that's sort of showing up through here as well. Like if we can see the dust, I don't know if we'll see dust in through here just yet. We are seeing lights and things from what's actually happened. We put on, I think, 20% destruction, so some of the buildings have been destroyed. And some of the trees will also have been burnt down in the actual map itself. So the map can be fairly dynamic. Let's just go back and have another look. I'm expecting that we'll end up trapping units back in through here. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what actually does go on here, I think. I think there's going to be a lot of fighting in this forest. Let's just keep it going. So again, it's only seconds after everything sort of happened. Now, infantry platoon is dashing, so they're moving quickly. They're nervous. They've had 3 casualties already, actually, so they're now nervous with problems. This is the HQ. This group is it's got now 4 casualties. So now we are losing a lot with what's happening in through here. So this is a problem for us. They're trying to get to some sort of safety. We're hearing other things back from there as well. APC finished unloading passengers back over through here. And so what we want to do here is just move so that we can sort of at least be there for when the dawn strikes. So that group through there. Whoops, I'll just pause that again. APC finished unloading passengers. So we're starting to get more passengers coming in through here, and we're getting more noise. So there's still looks like they've actually put a lot of units on this side of the map. Unfortunately for us, this truck is starting to now make its way up very slowly. In the meantime, we've got these as well, which we're going to have to. They're still unloading. What I'll do is I'll wait for them to all finish with what they're doing, and then we'll start to move the forces into the forest, sort of take what we can. Let's just unpause. So we're taking damage down here. It's now reversing back. Get more sound there. Right, all of these are now here. I'm just going to grab the just the infantry section. This is D6, and I'm going to sneak it in. So I'm going to go and use Scout to move. Actually, Scout is sort of like crawling. It's probably a bit too much. Let's not do that. Let's just go to Contact in that direction. And do the same thing here. Come on, just give me just the infantry, please. They're right on top of each other, of course. So they're going to be moving a lot more cautiously. Oops, didn't want to do that one. Okay, so I'll start to move up through the forest. Do you have problems here? Now, this one is no longer moving to where we asked it to move. It's got 4 casualties. If you have a look at the information, what are we down to? Three by the looks. Yeah, 3 of 7 is all that we got left. So, and so you can see down through there we've got 2 semi-automatic rifles, 1 submachine gun, and that's pretty much it. A light machine gun there with 0. The other ones, still, yeah, we've got no more LAWs. Hand grenades, we've still got 11 hand grenades in there as well. So we actually have a little bit, but it's not going to be all that effective. The casualties that we have through this group, so they were supposed to be moving up. They've now got 5 casualties. They've been completely suppressed, and they're down to just 3 as well. So, and they've only got semi-automatic rifles and light machine guns now as well. So they're not going to be able to really do too much. This is now moving up through that tree line. We're going to be wanting it to stop. Well, pretty much where it is actually. That's actually all right. I'll leave that one where that is, and then this one stops a little bit further back and moves their forces in. You've got to be looking over the whole map. This is one of these things where you do get a little bit blind to what's going on. It's only a small battlefield, but still a lot can happen. See how dawn has now arrived, so the light has now sort of changed a little bit. By the way, if I zoom out, this is actually what the what's going on. We can sort of see that there's weather effects happening back in through there. That's the headquarters that we have to ultimately try to then go and take. Our headquarters happens to be, I think, on the map. Yeah, it is. That's actually our headquarters there. Oh, I've actually left forces down here. I've left my HQ. This is everyone, I think. Yeah, I've left these guys behind. So I'm going to move them up. I didn't even see those. So we'll move them into this location. So we'll just go and tell them to advance to there. See, it's only 10 seconds because this is us. This is essentially the commander of the group. So I want them to be fairly central. All right, resume. So I'm not seeing anything else really happening in that way. It is raining. Not getting any more. Where are they off to? Now they're still trying to do they're broken. I'm going to give them. I'm just going to tell them to delete all their waypoints and really just trying to look after themselves. 6 casualties now, so they're really screwed. These guys are unloading now, as are these. That's now made its way back as well. They're panicked. I don't know if I can change off the marks. I can put marks on the map to see where things actually were if I know stuff. But I'll see what else there is. I've got the replay of what's been happening. So if I go to replay, that's just showing essentially what's happened in the battle so far. So we get like a very, very quick replay, which is pretty cool. The line of sight we looked at before. I'll just go back in and leave that one where that is. What else is there to talk about with what this thing actually does do? Because it does a lot of stuff really, really well. And the replays are just really, really fast. Okay, so Heckler Ponics is in saying, is there player versus player in AB2? No, there's not. I would wait for Broken Arrow if you're looking for that. So Storm of saying, Daz, do you get a full replay of the entire battle at the end? One thing that Combat Mission Series is lacking. You sort of do. A bit like what we're just looking at through here. I can sort of play this at any time. I can rewind it. So this is like essentially looking at what's happened, but it's very, very quick. Like it just things rattle in, and it's sort of like it's 10 seconds at a time. So it speeds up really, really fast. I don't think I can actually play it slowly. Yeah, that just reverses. Yeah. So it's just sort of showing the actual replays of what's actually been going on with the actual forces in through there. So we've got those in through that side. What else was I going to show? There was something else I was going to show with this. There was a question. What was it? So Storm was saying, I'm curious of the setting since we have Brits fighting Poles here. Is this a Cold War gone hot scenario? Yes, it sort of is. I mean, it's a random campaign of sorts, and I just happened to choose both British and Polish forces, not for any real reason, but that was just what we ended up with. Yeah, so J.M. Browning is saying BDRMs often operate in twos, so it's a good chance another scout team. Yeah, it seems that way because it's actually it's right on the halfway point. This road is sort of the halfway point, So they would have come across. There must be 2 scout sections, which is a bit too much for our for the infantry group that we actually had that was left there. Yeah, I forget what else I was going to show. I can't think of what it was. I've also got the. Oh, that's right. I was just going to change the to see if I can get rid of these visions in through here. If I just go to options, graphics, got the engagement ranges, target lines. If I get rid of those. Terrain grid, I'll leave all that on. Battle positions and target reference points. I'll get rid of those as well. I'll keep the target lines on, actually, they're important. Engagement ranges are important as well. But I think that I can get rid of the map locations as well, I think. Actually, I'll just leave it at that. Let's just go back. Yeah, that's better. That's better. It just gets rid of where the helicopters, or what the helicopters are going to do, and it's still not bright enough for the helicopters to be effective. It's going on pause. Aha! We've got even more down this way now that we're sort of hearing from the bridge. So we're really surrounded in here. I'm going to get these guys to get out of here, so they can just advance down this way. Now they're sort of in safety. These are unloading at the moment. They're running away. They're still firing at everything. 6 casualties. Only 2 of them left, I think. Yep, 2 of them left. Infantry section is routed. They're now running, so they've now essentially no longer a functioning unit. Now, the fact that we've now sort of lost groups here, I might have to move one of these infantry across the other side once they do unload. These will start taking off fairly soon. There they go. Moving through the forest. So we'll keep this road under control once this is unloaded from the truck. Okay, that Bedford truck is now finished, and this Bedford truck is now finished unloading passengers. I'll just pause again and just give them their orders. So I'm going to move this one over this side of the road. I think we'll be okay this way. So let's just go and move this way, this one into here. Just move into advance. That one's sort of okay where it is. So I'm just going to get it to dig in. So it's hiding at the moment. It's SOPs. We'll just go effective and effective. So we'll just tell it to, and you can see even just taking that order is going to sort of slow it right down. Let's move these guys back out of the way. Again, 2 minutes for that one to happen. And the truck that's here is sort of okay-ish, I think. Yes, they're going to be sort of surrounded by these two. Okay, let's see what happens. Now, we're still not seeing anything on the map yet. But it'll be a matter of time, and it's one of these things where you got to let them. They don't immediately see things, so it's quite realistic in that sort of sense. It's you've just got to wait for them to do their stuff. So that one is moving across. Well, that infantry platoon is retreating, and it's nervous. I'll be wanting it to ultimately move across into the rear area. Actually, won't do anything yet until it's calmed right down. And we're just waiting for the to see different things really. And this is one of these games where you don't want to be rushing forward. Sort of tempted to start to bombard this area just because we're seeing things, but I think I'm still okay with what we actually have through here. So put up an area. If they come back through this area, we'll then try to take them out. This thing is going to try to move across. It's not taking light damage. There it goes. That truck is now on the move through the forest. Oh, here we go. Enemy ground unit spotted, and we've got one right there. So we've got ourselves a vehicle of some sort. These guys here are hiding and they're confident. What I can do again is just give them even like more effective ranges, but let's just let it go forward with what's actually happening through here. So this vehicle looks like it's coming through as well. It could be another scout vehicle. We're now targeting it. Destroyed it. Okay, BRM Maluka P destroyed. So if we go and click on that one through there, we don't look. I think that might be an anti-tank vehicle, sort of like a. So if there's one, there'll be two. That was good. So we did well there. So these guys are just sort of slowly pushing their way up through the forest, and again, where they're close enough to be able to support each other. Just keep this going. Don't know if I can repair this. Orders. No, there's nothing else there. It's just it is essentially stuck, essentially with what it's doing there. Everyone else is just sort of hiding away in around it. We'll just see what actually happens. But it's going to be a bit of a dead duck when daylight does actually come. Just unpause. So that vehicle's moving away. So they're moving into position. You do have a gap there, but that will still be okay, I think. Just keep that where that is. Oh, here we go. We're now starting to see units appear out on the in the field. So we now start to sort of pick up different things on the map. The longer we can just sort of stay watching, the better off we're going to be. So there's something out here. There is also independent forces as well, like civilians and things that you can sort of pick up on. They've moved into position now. But it is actually a really cool game, like the way it does work. Now I can play like in fast mode and just rush the whole thing, but it's one of these games where, like, yeah, we're spotting there's something out there. There's some sort of infantry force that's actually out in the fields. Could be a farmer working with a tractor or a group of civilians doing their farming in the ploughed fields. We don't know. Now they'll be going for. You can see there that they're actually doing a bit better than us. Like our victory is not great. Sort of coming down slowly. This is something you can turn on at the start of the battle if you're wanting to. We're not seeing anything else just yet. Eventually we'll start to sort of spot things. That scout vehicle's not spotting anything. If I rush forward, you know, it's just going to be a disaster, and we won't really learn much. So here comes the headquarters now. They'll make this more responsive by having the headquarters tucked in around here. Again, the light's getting lighter and lighter all the time. So you can see through there, we now actually have vision of 476 meters. So minute by minute, this will then start to improve, and we do have poor weather, so that sort of also makes it a little bit brighter with what's going on. I might bring one of the tanks up actually to this position here on this road. And at that location, I'm then just going to change it to rotate down the road. Just make sure that it's actually looking down that way. I don't know if I can change the rotation of this. No, can't. Because it's been disabled. Okay, so we're now bringing these up. So this is our essentially the HQ unit, which is why this tank could sort of respond so quickly. It's also got like good radios. And if we have a look down this road, we can then get a bit of an idea of what we're likely to be able to spot. Now, what we don't want is to have too many targets coming back the other way. But this will then give us a good position from this particular rise here. So the tank will end up being about here. Oops. So we might do that. Let's make generator. Should be off. Orders. Oh no, that's okay. So it's just going to sit there and it'll look out. Now this one, I don't know if this has got night vision. Yeah, night vision of 400 meters. So it's going to help a little bit with what it can then go and do. And again, we've got like the armor that we've got through here, front armor 300 millimeters. So very, very good. And with the turret as well, that's 500 millimeters there. So I'll just go and allow that to sort of sit there. I could even reverse this up a little bit, but it's now just looking. It's looking in the wrong direction, but it is looking. And so it will look for stuff out in the mist, in that misty area. Yes, we're really not seeing much at all out there at this point in time. So we're just now waiting. Headquarters are in position. Oh, now that's taking fire all the way back there. From somewhere, but where? We didn't see any noise. I'm going to move this one up. Advance to there and then rotate. Okay, so they've infiltrated behind us. So this is taking fire from something. We don't know what from what. Could be artillery actually. Well, let's move it down. There we go. Enemy ground unit spotted. So what we have here is we've got like a tank that's now come along. So this tank has come along this road, a BWP. So it does have 35 millimeter armor, essentially. Now this is our scout vehicle. It's actually now spotted it, and its range is set to hold. Does it have? It's only got a machine gun, so this is not what we want to have in here just yet. Now we're really, really close here. So we've got this group that's going to have to take this one on, but we'll still just keep it there. We've sort of spotted what it is. The tank won't probably get a shot. Let's just watch what actually happens in here. Nothing else happening there. Must have been artillery. Certainly noise. Now where's that? Suppressed. I can hear stuff, but I'm just not actually seeing it. Just trying to get a bit of vision of what's going on here. So we can't take this thing out. Oh, there's another tank. Tracked vehicle is now spotted from these units. These units have been told not to hide, so they'll target it, and they missed. Oh, they got it. There we go. So we don't know what it was, but D7 actually did fire at it with a second attack. It'd be the Carl Gustav or something like that that's actually been able to to go in yet. Used up one each of those. These guys have still got. That's different again. Is that my HQ? It is. So the HQ is in the middle there. That's good. So they actually found targets. There's another target back out through here now. So let's just continue on. This one hasn't seen us yet. There we go. Now the tank has spotted it, and as has the infantry. So we're now going to have, our tank is now going to be able to target this particular one. It has to fire through the tree line. So let's have a bit of a look and see what actually happens here from this perspective. It's going to be a bit more difficult to actually hit it. Actually, there's another one down there now as well, another tracked vehicle. But we've actually fully identified this one. There we go. The tank has hit it, but the infantry missed with what it actually had. So that's one of its missiles. And we can zoom right in and sort of, like it's, it's a bit like combat mission where you can actually, like that's it there, it's sort of modelled as a small, it's sort of moving off. But as I said, every single bullet is modelled. It's extremely well done. Now there's more vehicles moving out across towards this objective. So they've taken the objective, but really what we have to do is just try to kill off as much as we possibly can. We missed, but hit it again. So that's been hit by something. We haven't identified it, but we are using now we're going through our ammo, so we have to be a little bit careful of this. So whatever this tracked vehicle is, it has been hit now a couple of times. You can see smoking around it. It's now moving around to try to move out of the way. So now we've got a rotary winged aircraft has now been spotted. So we've got a helicopter that's now moved into position here. So this one here is an ME2 URP, which I know nothing about. But it's now moved in, and it will be trying to sort of spot. Now, I can bring a helicopter in to see if we can actually do something about it. Let's go and bring in one of the helicopters now, because it's dawn us now. We've now got 600 metres visibility with what we actually have. So let's go to air support. And we've got the second helicopter, was the one that's got the sort of target that we wanted. So I'm going to go and bring it in. So I'm going to tell it that it's this is its BP was back over through here. So I can put it anywhere inside this position. Now I thought I was going to be safe over here, but I'm really going to have to bring it back to about here, I think. And so it's now moving. And so we'll end up with a helicopter coming in. It's now taking fire from whatever this is. Seeking cover, which is fine. Missed again. Tank has got a target out there somewhere. We got hit down this way as well. The Challenger is taking damage, but we've got our front hull, so we're in a good position here with what we've been able to sort of set up. So we have to be a bit careful though. Got it. Whatever it was, that's been destroyed. And there's another tank coming in. Don't know what that is. Hit again, no damage. We are buttoned up, we're now suppressed. Lost Bedford cargo truck down there by something as well. So we are being surrounded, like we've been flanked here. But the helicopter's going to come into that position, so hopefully we'll see what that actually is. Missed. That one's dug in. Infantry taking fire now as well. Now this is suppressed. I can reverse this one out of the fight if I'm wanting to, but I think I'll still just keep it where it is. We're now winning. Oh no, we got destroyed. We don't know what from what. So something has actually hit the Challenger. So that was a very, very good hit to hit the Challenger and be able to destroy it like that. Right, next one. Advance up to there. Oh, there we go. They're all targeting it, whatever it is. There's something in there. Oh, they just got destroyed by something as well. So that's our eyes that were down this way. Lost the Spartan APC. We lost CO as well, so that was the one that was bogged. Taking fire. I might just turn off the pause for taking fire. Just bear with me. Let's go to the options, and if we go to game, so I had taking fire pause. So I'm just going to switch that one back to just leave that one there. Just go back into this one. Resume. Ground unit spotted. Oh, here we go. So we do have a vehicle out this way. Tank, T-55 this time. We're bringing the other tank up, sort of into position. They're firing over at this vehicle. This thing has been dug right in actually, which is so it's in a good position there. It's spotting into the forest now. Missed. Taking damage up this way. Okay, we did destroy that one actually. So we did actually destroy that one with high explosive anti-tank from this group. They're confident. That's good. That's sort of taking out some of the vehicles that were over this other side. We're sort of, I think we've blocked off what we had to there. This was hit by something. I don't know by what. But no damage. Sometimes the ammunition will cook off as well. So we are being hit pretty hard here. Here we go. Another helicopter has now been spotted. Where's our helicopter? Oh, here we go. No, that's not a helicopter. Helicopter hasn't arrived yet. If we have a look at the air support, he's moving. Arrival time 3:34, so we're still a little way off. So still 3.5 minutes. Here's radio contacts. Is that command and control type thing? I should have brought some anti-air with me, but I didn't. Yeah, it's got brutal very quickly. This is what happens with the game, actually. It's sort of one of these things where you need to try to establish a position that where you can sort of hold on, and then it's a bit of an attrition battle, just to sort of see how you go. Now, for all I know, they could be encroaching into here. I just don't know. I just don't have enough forces to move across into that position. I've probably put too many in this little area, where I really should have stacked this area. So we don't know what's actually in there. This T-55 is not moving off anywhere. That Challenger that we've got there. What I might do is I might move it up. Just have it so that it moves up to there and then rotates. Okay, we lost that whole infantry section. Has been destroyed. Oh, and that tank was already gone. It's that one out there that I'm interested in. So we're taking damage out through here. We are targeting this, and we're sort of wasting all of our stuff. So no, that one's still actually okay. keep on missing. Very well dug in. Now we're losing quite badly. It's moving off. It's moving back. Got unknown contacts back in through this other side. There we go. That's good. The other Challenger now destroyed that one. Got it. Great. Okay, so this next Challenger is now sort of evening the playing field here a little bit, but I really can't bring it out. It's too dangerous. There we go. We're seeing troops out there now. That Challenger hasn't found anyone else to target just yet. That tank is moving out. I'm going to move this one up. Just risk it a little bit because we've taken some damage, or so we've taken some things. We're targeting another vehicle there. Ground unit spotted. Yep, so that's some sort of vehicle. Don't know what it is just yet. There's sound coming from in here. Yeah, we're spotting something there. Lost the that one there. I'm going to now use these. So we're going to give them orders. So I'll just go and tell them what to aim at. So use high explosive, and I'll try to do it into this. We don't have a spotter for this. We do have a radio spotter into there, but let's just. Actually, this is probably going to be where things will go. Let's go with a radio spotter there. This will now start to do its stuff. It will now start to target. So it's now adjusting. Yeah, we spotted that helicopter again. So we're adjusting with the actual with what's actually going on through there. So I'll just unpause again. The 3D adds such a lot to this game. Like if you played the other game, this is dramatically different. Be careful here. Whatever it was. There we go. We've destroyed that again by the Challenger again. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to see these guys. We've taken a beating in through here. We're hitting something. We don't know what it is though. These troops, we don't know much about them, but we can see them in the fire there. Okay, so the mortar is now ready to fire. So now we can just go and tell it, okay, when it now has got what it needs, so we're now just going to fire for effect. So it's now going to fire everything it's got into this region. And you can do fire for effect as well. Shouldn't be paused. So they've changed attack and now sort of moved across to this position over here. Oh, we just lost our next tank as well. Now our score has gone way, way down. This is the Challenger tanks of radioing everyone. aircraft. Alright, so this is our links. So now moving along the road. Just watch them until they get shot down. Which is laughing, I think. Yeah, seeing what killed the Challenger, we won't know until the end of the battle. I might try to rush the battle and just see what actually happens. So this one is just moving along slowly. And now sort of cross the roads, sorry, cross the areas. So the helicopters will keep on looking. Another ground unit spotted back over through here. I might bring the other helicopter in as well. In fact, I've got the Harrier. Let's bring the Harrier in. And fire into this area. So inbound. It's going to be 4.5 minutes before it comes in though, unfortunately. Which can be a long time in the actual combat. So we're seeing other units now moving into here. So you can see there we're now hitting with the fire, with what they're doing. We can go into and try to get them to adjust. This has been suppressed, so the Challenger is actually taking damage. Enemy rotary ring spotted again, back over this other side. Our helicopters are now making their way up into that position. Okay, we destroyed that one, that's good. Did well here with these, with patching this gap. But we are losing badly now. So they're sort of just doing their own thing. Medium ready to fire, so we'll just tell it to fire for effect. Both of those just fire for effect. You can see there the line FFE. Comes the helicopter. Now it's hard for them to spot until they sort of get going a bit. So UK just saying, so just finished work, so was just listening before. 2 questions. Did you say that you can zoom into 3D and can you pause and issue orders for us nugs? Absolutely. So if you're watching now, I'll pause it, and so I've now got it paused. I can give it whatever orders I want to any of the units, so I can do it. I can do it to groups of units as well. So I can go into, for example, that striker section. Which is like an anti-tank. I can say, okay, look guys, you need to move across to there. I can then go into different ways of moving. That way the whole group will then move across, that little group. So, and I've done this while it's all paused. I'm just going to right click, let go of that one. In terms of the 3D, the thing that makes this so much better is the old game was you had to play the whole game like this, where you're sort of looking down on top, but you didn't get any real perspective of what's going on. Now the whole, we did identify this as being a key area, but we didn't realise how much of a key area. So as we sort of come down into this region, we get a much better perspective of the combat from what we're seeing from the ground level. So we can sort of see what the troops are seeing. And so we've lost a couple of tanks on this road. So we have been spotted from out in the depths here. So there's something that's been able to target us fairly effectively from out this way. We don't know what that is until the combat actually ends. But there are sort of like, you know, destroyed tanks, I think that one's dead. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're sort of doing the damage. But there's unknown tanks and things that have sort of been destroyed back through there. We're seeing smoke now down this way, which makes it sort of seem like there must be artillery down this way, that we could actually target that. because that's actually, well, that's a fire that's now started in around that location. We haven't been targeting that with anything, so I don't think we have. Actually, no, we have. So we have been firing at something at the back there. We don't know what it actually is. So our troops are sort of doing their own thing as well. What I could do with our mortars is actually just come back and target that one. So get them to bombard that area. So I've only been like in the game for 22 minutes essentially. What I might do is I might rush through the end of the combat. So I'll go fast because I do have to sort of start to wind things up. They're ready to fire, so I'll just go fire for effect. It's ready to fire, fire for effect. Just let things go. I can turn off the pausing and just let the game run in fast mode. So we are firing at different things. We've got fire sort of blasting away through there. Our helicopters are firing at other things as well. So I'm guessing the helicopters are sort of fighting it out amongst themselves. Ground unit spotted. Okay, we've actually got one that's right in the middle of us. So we've sort of got an infiltrator that's sort of come through this other area. Some unknown troops. Let's keep on going fast. Yeah, we just got destroyed by whatever this infantry squad was doing. So we're sort of, again, being sort of swamped in through here. You can see through here the actual... actually, we just destroyed something else. We lost the Striker. Harrier is taking fire, so the Harrier is now coming through. Harrier took some damage out through that side. So the Harrier, I'm not sure where the Harrier actually is now. I think it may have got... There's ours. This is interesting. We've got a Harrier that's actually just come through. We've just bombed this area. And the other Harrier is now sort of is moving off without any real problems. They won't be able to report much of what they see on the ground. And these are, like if I go and click on these, we can sort of go and have a look at them. I think, if I zoom in, so that's them, they're flying off. So we can sort of zoom right in with what they're doing. They're going to fly across the headquarters of these Polish forces. But the game is really very, very, very good with what it does do. It's actually really hard to plug the gaps. It's not an easy game to play, but you can sort of tweak things to make it sort of do what you want it to do. Not sure if these helicopters, they should be able to target the other helicopter. There it is. No, they're targeting ground units. So these helicopters are firing away. Actually, no, it should be targeting the other helicopter. Oh, here we go. So the battles will reach its conclusion. Show the after-action report. So in this case, we ended up doing enough damage to them to actually then... So we must have done more damage than we thought. We've only just won it. It's a tactical victory. We didn't actually even take the actual location. So we'll show the after-action report. And so what this then does is it shows us what actually happened to us. So we had 126 troops. We lost 24 and 2 were routed. We had 25 vehicles and 9 were lost in through this other side. They deployed 117 troops and they lost 45. They had 31 vehicles, of which 22 of them were destroyed. And so that's what we sort of see back in through there. I can resume the campaign, or I can basically just go and close this one and then have a look on the actual battlefield itself, I think. Yeah, so this is now, I can now see, because I've turned it on, I can see what's going on here around the place. So we can see who's who in the zoo. So there's a whole lot of infantry that had come up this area. We didn't even see this. We were on the right idea with what we did at the start by moving into this location, but they didn't come this side of the area. They came up this road, and the road was fairly protected with trees on both sides. So they've actually come back up through here, and they've got infantry infiltrating into our zones, and this is what we're seeing through this other side. So we can sort of see, you know, we can now sort of see more about the actual squads that are moving in to the various locations. There's a scout team back there. They had an anti-tank vehicle there. They still had the tanks, the T-55, 2 helicopters, which we've got now 2 as well, another T-55 at the back there. So we did actually end up killing off tanks here that we didn't even know about, like, you know, that we were sort of targeting with aircraft and so on and so forth. There was one here that probably got destroyed by the Harriers as they came through. There's another T-55 making its way back out there. There was another T-55 by the looks at the back there. Let's have a bit of a look and see. Yeah, so that one actually was blown up and cooked. Not seeing it there actually. It's not giving me the of what it actually did do. So, and then we've got all these different units. We've got man pads back this way, motorized rifle squads. Yeah, other units were sort of killed off at the back through here. So it's still dawn, so it's still sort of like bad light conditions, but it's interesting. Oh, look at this! They came all the way through. I don't know how they got into here. Somehow they got a force in behind us. Now, I can only assume they came through here at some point. So they're actually in behind us with these Scots, these APCs. So they've actually come in and unloaded in behind us, and so we weren't even aware of this. Yeah, it came through. What about the others that were over here? No, nothing. We were always worried that something was going to be encroaching in around us. So I don't know how they broke through. They must have. The fact that these are coming through here, these must have made their way through initially in behind us, and we didn't even see it. Didn't even notice it. So they've actually established themselves right at the back there. Yeah, while we were sipping tea. Yes, absolutely. But this is in this case we did actually end up with we destroyed enough to achieve an actual victory, or sorry, a tactical victory there. They controlled the objective, which is so they get that, but we still win ultimately with what actually ended up happening. So if I then go to the summary, this is I'll just finish off with sort of showing the way this one does sort of then go and work. If we resume the campaign, oh, does it say what killed the challenges? Yeah, good point. Let's go and have a look. So if we have a look at the challenges, I'm pretty sure it does. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. We've got that challenger. It's not showing us there, unfortunately. What I can do is I can do a replay. Where's the replay? But we're not seeing the other side, unfortunately. Yeah, so we're not seeing the other side. They took the objective very early. Our forces move off. Yeah, I wish if we could see what was happening. Yeah, it got killed there, but we don't know from what. There might be another way that we can do it. Hang on, there might be another way. I'll just get rid of the replay. If I go to the order of battle, we may be able to do it this way now that the battle is finished. Yeah, so we got see how we've got the Challenger MBT tank is now sort of showing up, where we've got we've got what actually happened. Oh, hang on, it's just showing us where it was. Order of battle. We've got the kills, but not the actual kills. We don't have a list of the kills that it actually did. It's just showing us where it was. If I go to the opponent, yeah, we can sort of get a bit of a feel to at least sort of see what happened. We had one kill there. If we go to the T-55s, it was destroyed. This particular, they had a lot of platoons. They had a heap of T-55s ultimately. 3 kills there. I'm assuming it must be one of these that would have got the damage done. 1 kill there, it's still active. Actually, that one there, if we have a look, so it's in here somewhere. I think it's this one. But no, we don't get to see the detail on it, unfortunately. Anti-tank sections, they didn't do anything. There was 1 kill there. Maybe it was one of these anti-tank sections backing through that outside the side. These won't have anything that they would have done. So I'm assuming it's one of the tanks or the anti-tanks, I would guess, that would have actually done the damage there. These infantry platoons probably won't really have much that they would have done. But it's a really cool game. Again, I can sort of filter it by tanks or support, just to sort of see exactly what we're looking at through there. But if I then go back to the summary and just go to resume campaign, what it then does is we now actually follow on with our core force. And so this actually makes it even cooler again. So when you've got a really long campaign, you end up with this thing where we've got the total points we've got 1,128 out of 1890. But we've got all these damaged sections, like the Challenger tank troop. You can see there 502. If we need to refit this, so I need to basically tell it to refit selected group. Alternatively, you can left click twice or right click once on a group. So I think I can even change, I don't know if I can change that so much. Yeah, that's now been fixed up. Fix that one up. Need to fix that one up. Fix. And we've now run out of money. So these won't be fixed. So we're only going to have one striker, anti-tank section. Infantry platoon back and through there also has taken some damage. So we have like the second page, 2 infantry sections have been destroyed with that. So we can't get those back. Our points aren't enough. And so, but we won that battle. So then we go on, and so the next phase, this is now all we have for the next phase of the actual. So this is refit and support. We'll just go and click on done. We now go to the next battle. And so the next battle is now taking us into combat with injured groups. That's their headquarters, which is now the final objective for us to then go and play out. And we're now in the open fields. So this is exactly the same town that they had before. So remember how they came up that road and then sort of snuck through? We now control Lesellen. So we actually control this area. But this field's all the way, it's all very, very open. And so luckily we've got our tanks, so we would be able to then sort of go and do, this one is 725, probably in the same day. So we're now pushing forward to try to get the, to try to now take the advantage. We do control the town, so we do actually have forces in through here. But this is now, we're now in an assault phase where we're trying to move through onto the town itself. We've still got our scouts, we can move them wherever they like, so we can still reposition. But this is going to be, again, a thing where we sit down and try to destroy what we possibly can before we expose what we have. Now, again, the 3D aspect will be very, very important to sort of see what we can sort of spot. See how we don't really get to see anything from back in here? So the backside of that hill is probably actually fairly good. If I go to line of sight tool back through here, yeah, we're actually safe-ish back here, like at the very, very back of the map. That's behind this hill, but this hill here gets to see most of the battlefield. In fact, if I go to the location that I'm trying to find, we can see that actually, like having a group there will actually show what's happening. If I go and click there, we also then have pretty good vision from this tree line, so we can sort of see pretty well from that tree line. What about from over here? They don't get to see the objective so much, but they see a little bit. That tree there sees a fair bit into the central areas. That building sees an awful lot. That building there would be great to get some infantry into it, just for spotting. And so we now have a whole other way of then sort of having to then go and deal with the next phase, which is really, really cool. Someone saying, it looks like worth my hard-earned money. It's a really, really good game, and the fact that you build your own campaigns like this is just awesome. And it's real. It's like, I don't know if you know. I have had people watch before where they knew the town that they were looking at. The positioning of the housing isn't perfect. Like, it's not really, because it's done on a grid basis, and so the roads are a little bit off. But essentially, it is reasonably accurate for what you get, and certainly it's good enough for a game. So. But I do have to call it quits here, guys. So, look, thanks for watching. I'm glad that we got that to a conclusion, so you could just see what the next phase would then look like. You can see there that we didn't have enough. We lost too many troops. So you have to be very careful not to lose too much of your forces, otherwise you just can't keep on fighting anyway. So in this case, we could actually, if we wanted to, essentially give up and run away, so we can then get more points to then go back in again. But it's extremely well done. Like, the game is just and having the 3D aspect really improves it. And it sort of really surprised me, because I wasn't expecting it to be the 3D to add as much to it as the game actually does do, because I really enjoyed Armour Brigade 1, but Armour Brigade 2, it's hard to go back to Armour Brigade 1 once you've been playing this version of the game. But again, if you're in YouTube, I do actually have a link there which has been stickied to the Steam page. If you are wanting to go back there, and or if you're on Twitch, I do have it the link there, the tracking link in the description. So Mad, as I was saying, it's been available for a while, but yes, on Steam today. Yes, so it's pretty much just been launched into Steam. It's been around for about 6 months. And they have been improving it over that time, so it's almost been like an early access, and so now we have the actual launch, which is good. Just see if there's any other questions about the game. How's the enemy AI? Well, we saw it there. It's good depending on what you tell it to do. As in, and by that I mean we told the force that was here, it was a mechanized force, and so it chose a couple of tank groups, and so it was using the tanks. It almost won that last battle. It almost won, and so that was it actually was winning for most of the actual combat. The thing I found interesting was that it switched to the from the fact that it got in behind us is a bit of a surprise. Like I really thought I'd blocked off enough for that not to happen, but they got through, and they didn't even I think they sort of lucked a way through because we were focusing on roads, and I think they may have focused on the tree line to sort of break through into where we actually were. So the AI I find very, very good, and they also don't just rush off. Like if they can dig in, they'll dig in and scout and just sit back and watch for a long period. So no, I find the AI very, very good, to be honest, in the game. It's but I found it good in Armour Brigade 1 as well, but it is even better. Now what they've also done with this one is if you do play with the AI being infantry, what they will then do is they'll focus even more on the tree lines. And so if you get an infantry force, they'll actually try to protect the infantry even more. So people saying the Poles were trained by the Viet Cong. So yeah. So anyway, so World War II photos investigated is saying, is it out? Yes, it is. Hi, I am 1115. Hi, back. So so we've got the Pigmax saying part of the speed of the replays would be a bit more fleshed out. Yes, I think that would be good to actually have a real replay where you can pause and watch and actually see exactly what did happen. That's one thing that's that would be good to be able to do a lot more in the replay. And I may be missing something with that, but I don't think I am. It's but yeah, it's, as I said before, a very, very cool game. We don't have any air support in this one because we ran out of money. So we are literally now just bare bones going in for this particular fight to try to take the what they have. You can see through there that we have the advantage in through here with the actual score, for the simple reason that we've actually gone and we're attacking them. So they've actually got less points than us because we're supposed to be exposed to different things in this one. So it's supposed to be a bit harder for us to maneuver and do things. But anyway, great game, and I'll leave it there, guys. So thanks for watching. I don't think there's any other questions that I saw that people asked. I think on Sturmoon did say, if infantry can shoot at air units in this game, then that enemy helo is made of paper, can kill it with rifles. The way it works, and when I was sort of playing the game, not so much today, but in previous days when I've been playing it, the helicopters, the AI will hunt them down essentially if they can get to them, and they'll send the right sort of forces to go after them, and they'll even hunt them down with infantry just to sort of bring them through. So Seva's saying raid Slytherin. Actually, I don't know how to do raids. I'll see how I go. I'll say goodbye to everyone on YouTube, and I'll see if I can figure out how to do the raid into Slytherin, because I think they've got an announcement or something today. I think not sure what they're up to. I'll just I'll just go and say goodbye to everyone from